You are now listening to the Sae Bae Cast, the #1 old school RuneScape podcast featuring guests from all across Galanor. To support this podcast, visit the Patreon link in the description.
All right, welcome to the Sae Bae Cast number 99. Insane, by the way, with a cold one and Eliop, or Eliop as I like to call him.
What up?
Yeah, how you both doing tonight?
Doing good. How are you guys?
I'm doing
Fine.
Fantastic. I was just saying I just ate some Korean food and it's delicious. A cold one. How are you?
Very reclined, just had some greasy bar food. Just came back and do this little podcast thing.
What'd you get?
They had 2-for-1 fish and chips at our local place.
Ooh,
so
that sounds
you know we
pretty
have to
fire.
cop that.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
just had leftover stir fry reheated with rice.
Oof.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we've had you on a cold one nearly 2 years ago at this point, and that was back in like the super early days of the Sae Bae Cast, where I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just like, let's start a podcast, and I knew you would like be down to like be one of the guests. It's always really uncomfortable when you're starting a podcast to just ask people to be on it because they're like, what are you trying to do, man? Trying to start a podcast? Like, grow up.
So wait, you know what you're doing now?
Barely, but
Okay.
yeah, a little bit more. And yeah, so it's good to have you back on. Eli, this is your first time, and it's another PKer. There's always a huge demand for more PKers to come on. I've had West Ham, had Dino, had Pure Spam, Manked, and so it's always nice getting like a broader perspective. But
Happy to represent for the PK community, man.
hell yeah.
We gotta get Dinner Bitter on sometime too.
Oh
Good
yeah,
luck,
we gotta
dude.
get that clown on one day.
Good luck with that.
No, I literally would love to have Dinner Bitter on, but
He might actually. I don't know. I'm saying that, but
I
he's
wonder.
always like, I don't have time to do podcasts, Eliop. We're too busy working, Eliop. But I'm like, dude, like, just drink some
I
beers,
will
talk
convince
shit.
him. I'll tell him if he doesn't say yes to the podcast, I will keep him from rank 1 in Leagues 4. I will go all the way and stop
You
that
think you
man.
can beat him? You think you can just like play hard and outcompete him?
I mean, if I didn't quit in the last like 2 or 3 weeks of Leagues 3, then I would have stayed ahead of him in ranks. It's just I just couldn't be bothered grinding out Dragon Full Helm from Mythal Dragon, like all those garbage
God.
grinds.
Dude,
Like I think the man in the last week went to Ancient Wyverns to grind out an Ancient Wyvern Visage. Like that's the shit that Ironman collection loggers do. That ain't fun. I don't want to do that.
whatever drop rates are just 3 times better. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's just flat 3x.
Jesus Christ, that's so 4,000 motherfucking wyverns.
Yeah.
Ah,
I think he went like hella dry on it as well. It took him like several days. And I kind
yeah.
of brickwalled him and made him lose rank 1.
I gotta say, Ditter is an absolute grinder.
Dude,
like that
he's
dude.
crazy.
Yeah, I don't even understand it. It's like, what? Like
He's like one of my best friends. He's just, dude, like the thing that he has, that his edge is just that his competitive drive is unlike like a lot of, like if he decides he wants to be the best or win at something, like he will just do it. You know what I mean? That's what keeps him moving. Like I can't do that with stuff. Like it's very rare that I'm just like, I want to be the best. You know what I mean? Like I just want to have fun generally, I feel like. But Ditter is like, I want to win. I want to be top dog. And once he sets his mind to it, he'll just do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like literally leagues. Like that is so not him. He loves PKing and like
I
hates
know
skilling and
that's
stuff,
the
but he's just,
weirdest
like,
part.
just
He's
out
got
of
that drive.
competitive drive. Yeah, got that
And he's
dog. in him,
young.
like, yeah, and he's young. He can
That's
just do
true.
crazy shit
Like
too.
when you're younger, it's
100%.
you could focus a lot more on like just random shit.
Have more energy
Yeah.
and recover after 20 hours and 4 hours of sleep and keep going. Like,
The crazy thing is like Ditter and Solo Mission, because I mean, obviously Solo Mission, I feel like he can go really hard for like a couple weeks, and then after that he just kind of like chills. But both of them are literal content creators, and I feel like they can always flex rank 1 at some point,
Yeah,
and it's just
that's pretty crazy.
insane because like you got
and making content on top of it, like
I
pumping out
know.
vids. That's what I can't. Like, I could never.
yeah,
I tried to do
like,
that for Fresh Start recently. Like I was grinding those crazy and trying to keep up with making vids and like streaming it and everything. It's like it's so much. Like it's so much.
yeah, that's just like ridiculous to go for, to even be in the top 5 at all and make videos like basically every other day. Like what the hell's going on? Yeah. Insane.
I gotta say, like, I'm very jealous of Solo Mission and Dinner Bitter for that. Like, when those limited game modes come out, whether it's Deadman, Leagues, or I guess in this case, Fresh Start Worlds that we got this year, like, they're able to pump out, like, a video every day, every other day, and it's a good video.
Oh yeah.
And keep grinding it and actually, like, edit it in such a way. Like I just started editing YouTube recently, and I'm like, it's a couple days of work for me to just make a 10, 15-minute video, and they're just like, hey, I'll just put it together in a couple minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they've been in the game for like a couple years now on this, so I got to pay respect where respect is due. They know what they're doing.
no, I
Yep.
mean it's straight up deserved success. Like no other content creator like clearly is putting in that much effort into the game and also making an entertaining video on it. So shout out to those two. So I guess a lot of the people listening to this already know quite a bit about you guys, but I want to start with Eli, just a little bit about yourself, how you kind of got into the game, content creation, and I guess just share a little, I don't know, factoid about you. A factoid.
All right.
I haven't said
You want
that
like,
word in a fucking
you
minute.
want like the whole story condensed? Like, where should I start?
Just
Like how I
anywhere.
got into RS? All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, let's do that.
I'll start all with this. I've played eliop14 forever. I've always been this account. This is the only account I've ever had. Like I have like, pures and scuffed accounts from other stuff, but not really anything that I've played. Like I think I have like 400 days played on my main. And I've had it since I was like 11. I made it in like 5th grade. Some of my friends showed me the game. Huge noob, all pre-OC. I was like a scuffed ass range tank with like 86 range. I just killed fire giants and like did Slayer and stuff. And then I stopped playing like around Evolution of Combat, came back to the game around 2017, got into PKing like 2017, 2018, and yeah, it's like just become my favorite thing. I used to boss a lot. Like I've done like all the raids, I've done hard modes, I've done expert toes. Like I've done all the content, but PKing is the only thing that really like, I don't know,
Stuck.
that I can just keep doing constantly and like never ever tire of. Like I can just PK every day and like have fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I just like to PK. I kind of led a little singles community called Psych. We like PK and singles and do weird baits and multi-bait stuff like that. And that's pretty much me. I used to be a range tank. Now I'm just a scuffed main.
So
Actually,
how
now I'm
did
a max main, but
how did this all? How did the content creation start? What inspired that?
so I went to school for forestry. I like have associates in forest technology. So like basically managing timber resources, wildlife habitat, just managing like the Pennsylvania like game lands and forest land.
That's cool.
And I always played RuneScape, did it for fun. And I met some friends through a business community like a long time back in college, and they PK'd, and like I'd watch business streams. I was like, screw it, like I'll stream, and I like stream myself PKing at like Hellhounds and like Deserted Keep in full Zarishan, like just huge noob, scuffed background, like no mic, nothing. And like these guys started stream sniping me. Like these guys from that's how I met all of them. They all this is like whole community. Of they would stream snipe me and kill me. They would send like an Ironman in full Verax and I'd like attack it, and they'd get me frozen on the spear line, like spear me into multi and kill me and like troll me. So I learned about PKing from them. Some of my friends that I grew up with too taught me like a little bit. They PK'd pre-OC. And then I just started like clipping all the funny moments that would happen off stream and like some of the stream clips too, and just putting it on YouTube like just for fun, because I did broadcasting in high school and I knew how to like edit, and I did like promos for the morning announcements, and like for the football team when I played, I'd make like the highlight videos and stuff. And I just started doing it for fun, and the videos got some traction, and people started watching them. People started coming to my streams from the videos, and then it just kind of grew and grew. Eventually, like I was like, yo, I'm making enough to pay my rent, like just doing it in 3 hours after work, like. And then eventually I was just kept doing it. I was like, just quit my job and committed.
That's
now
fucking awesome.
Kind of like, it was never the plan or like the goal, but it just kind of started doing it and having fun, and now I'm doing it.
That's awesome, man. I love hearing like stories like that.
Yeah.
I get to hear a lot of them, so that's really
yeah,
cool.
for sure. I feel like that's how it goes for a lot of people. Like I feel like a lot of content creators never really like. I mean, some probably do, but a lot of people like that. Like they just started doing it for fun, for passion, and it grew because they put effort into it and stick with it.
And then like that leap of faith of like, oh God, like I'm just gonna quit my job.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was a big one. My parents were not huge fans, but they're chilling now. It's been almost 2 years. It's been just about 2 years now, but my dad's like, so you're gonna quit your state job with benefits and retirement to play RuneScape? I'm like, you don't get it. Like, you're not listening to me. Like, it's going good. I'm only doing it 3 hours a day. I think if I did 8 hours a day, I could probably make the same amount of money. Like, I hope you know what you're doing. I'm like,
so how does he feel about it now? Is there any difference, or is he still like, okay?
I mean, he was always supportive, but he was, that's just the dad. He's just trying to be, he was just looking out for me. He just wanted me to have a secure future. And I knew I was taking a risk, but I was like, yeah, he's very supportive now. Like, now that he sees like, the growth, and that I'm consistently growing and putting an effort to it and treating it, like a real job and doing it every day. So yeah, they're very supportive now.
That's awesome. And a cold one, I guess a little backstory of your RuneScape career and then how you got into streaming.
Oh boy. Okay, so I started in the Super Turbo Boomer days back in 2002 when it was still
Jesus.
RuneScape Classic. Yeah, that's when I made my first account. I didn't play on it too
Damn.
much. I think I like chopped a couple trees or something. It was just like my buddy in school showed it to me. I was like, yeah, it's kind of cool. And then I
Wait,
forgot
where did he
about that.
find it from? Was it Miniclip?
No, this is like before Miniclip.
Oh,
Like it was
that
just like
was
yeah.
Damn,
Miniclip.
that's how my friend
This
found
is
it.
this is RS Classic days. Like this is way back when.
Mm.
So I just like walked around like Lumbridge Castle, chopped a couple trees, and then we're gonna hold on to the account for later because I actually re-logged into it again recently and found something out about it that was kind of funny.
Ooh.
But that was like the first time I ever logged in. I started like actually playing I think February 2004, just before the transition to RS2. And I actually still remember my first PK in the entire game, and it was in the days of RS Classic and free to play, where I think it was like 30 something like attack and strength. I had a mithril scimitar, like nothing, like no armor, no nothing. And I find some guy like in current days where the Ents are, like where all the big trees are, like in like Middle East, like Wilderness at like 11.
Yeah, like, towards single strip over there to the east side.
Yep. I see some guy in full mithril armor just standing there, some sword. So I just attacked him. He had a skull over his head, and he just didn't do anything. And I killed him, and I got full mithril out of that.
Wait, that was in
Jeez.
classic.
Yes.
So that was like the old like tink 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 tink. Like, you
Yeah,
just like
it
stand
was-
there and trade hits, basically, right?
Yeah, it was the old hit, like fighting mechanics where you literally could not
Dude.
disengage a fight for 3 hits each. So I hit him 3 times and he just died, and I picked up his stuff, and I ended up losing like 15 minutes later to some other guy.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh, I wish I knew about the game in classic. That sounds like so like. Dude, this sounds so nerdy. But if I had a time machine, I would literally just go back in time to different eras of the Wildy and just like imagine like you could just dominate people. Like people would be so bad.
Man. Just-
Like
Just being like, I just imagine because I started in 2004. What about you, Eli? What year did you start?
I started literally 2008, like legitimately
Mm.
like the week after they removed Wildy and free trade. Like literally the
You
week
missed out on
after.
such good time.
Dude.
Dude, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I was a huge
Oh.
noob. Like that's when I started. Like I was a big noob.
Mhm.
So like I didn't know anything about PKing and stuff. I think or no, did they remove Wildy? Yeah, they did. I
Yeah,
was
you
because like I was
couldn't
do castle
kill
wars and
people.
stuff. I couldn't do any of that. Yeah,
Mhm.
and the trade limits as well. 'Cause
Dude,
of what
just-
bots.
Just thinking about having a time machine and going back to like I imagine 2004, 2005 era, and just knowing about the game, like you could have been Zezima on fucking
Literally.
steroids. Like you could have
Literally.
literally changed the lives of so many children. You know, that's been a hero. But,
Butterfly
Yeah.
effect.
we were all fucking idiots back then. So like
Everyone's so newbie, man. My first memories of the game are spawning in Lumbridge. I remember, like, I have vivid memories of these, but like, it's just nothing really came of it. I'll just walk around Lumby. When it was Eliop14, I was like, I was described the game. Have you ever heard of RuneScape? And I'm like, what? What's that? He's like, it's this game on the computer. Because like at this point, we all had like Game Cubes and Game Boys. Like there was not much online gaming yet around like 2007, 8. And he's like, no, it's on the computer. It's like there's like wizards, and you can have blue hair, kill cows, and like this is what my friends are telling me. I'm like, that sounds sick. I can be a wizard with blue hair. That was enough for me, and that's what I wanted to do. So I dyed my hair blue, and I just like walked around Lumbridge. And anytime I'd see somebody with a staff, I'd be like, can I buy your staff? Can I please buy your staff? I want to be a wizard. And I would just like trade whatever crappy
Yeah, that's
goblin
the
mail or
innocent
whatever I
days of
had.
this game.
So innocent. Like no one knew anything. That was like
I
most people
know.
though, like no one knew shit. Everyone was so newbie.
it's always insane. I don't know if you guys have seen those like rare Reddit posts. I think the last one I saw was at least 3 years ago, where they show pictures from like that era of 2004 to like
Yeah.
2007, and
Love that.
they're always like these actual beast accounts. I'm like, dude, how old? You must have been a fucking like 16-year-old back then when we were all like
Yeah.
8 years old, because like
Literally.
they actually progressed and had Barrows armor. I was like, dude, I didn't even know what Barrows was. I didn't even understand the concept of a whip. I had no idea where it came from. I was just like, okay, like that looks sick. Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah,
even
well,
question it.
those guys that would like stream snipe me, that I was saying in like in
Mm-hmm.
OSRS, they're all like 1 to 3 years older than me. So they are that. I was like 11, they were like 14, 15. They were all PKers, like Abyss and like Matt and like some of my other friends from my community. Like they all PK'd then. They were newbie too, but like they would go on Mage Bank trips and shit. Like they're telling me about old wild stories. I'm like, how did you guys like figure out how to do stuff back then?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like I was just such a bot. I was bone bolting
Yep.
fire giants for a whole summer. Like, like that was what I did.
Yeah, sometimes I
I was
just
so
wonder, like,
newbie.
how did I even enjoy? Like, my brain was so underdeveloped. Like, it literally it never even crossed my mind to get better at the game. It was just like enjoy.
It was the wonder,
Jesus
the
Christ.
mystery, right? Like
Yeah,
people didn't know everything. Like there weren't guides. There weren't like there were endless possibilities. Like to me, that's how I viewed it. And that's how I used to feel like the Wildy too. Like there's just endless like things that could happen. Like
Yep.
you don't really know.
So
And
a cold
it's so
one.
fun.
What was your like best moment besides getting full mithril and then losing it like 5 seconds later?
What, in the olden days?
Yeah, in the good old days. You know what? Let's talk about RS2. I
Okay.
think that's more familiar for me at least. Classics
Yeah,
just
yeah,
too
RS2.
ancient.
I have 3 stories that will make you guys like 1 nostalgic, 2 jealous, and 3 I don't know what. Like things that came to mind when I heard you guys talking. So I'll go over the one that like you asked, like a very memorable moment from RS2 era. I remember when the clue scroll update came out. It's like there are now clue scrolls in the game. You can randomly get them from monsters. You can go on treasure hunts. I was like, oh, that sounds sick. So like I didn't do any for like 2 days because I had no idea where they were coming from. I think I was like training on some crappy monsters at the time. My buddy's like, dude, you should like safe spot these things called hellhounds in the Falador dungeon. Like, follow me.
Oh,
And it's like, oh, you got to bring an anti-poison to get there, and we safe spot them here. We get hard clues off of them. And like these are like the big buck ones.
yeah.
And I remember like it took me I think 3 days to complete 2 of them, and the second one got me a gilded plate body. And
Holy!
I remember going to the original RuneScape forums to sell that thing for 900k, and I probably got juiced to hell for that thing.
900K?
That was a lot of money back then.
Was it?
That
This
was-
is
okay, this is the days-
what year is it? What year are we talking like right now? Like right when RS2 came out?
2004. This is around the
Oh,
time when a
damn.
Dragon Medhelm is 2.4 mil.
Okay. So GP as a whole was just like
Very
scarce.
valuable.
Like, yeah, gold because like what? The only way gold really came into the game back then was alchemy. Like
Oh yeah,
that's pretty much it,
So-
right? Like
Yeah.
that's
See-
like one of my most memorable moments from like
crazy,
old
actually.
days.
yeah.
Now I've got like 2 other moments that I remember,
Mm-hmm.
but like the gilded plate body one sticks
Yeah,
out like a
that's
sore
huge.
thumb or a good
Holy
thumb.
fuck! That's insane.
This one was like some of my favorite moments PKing. This is like back when free to play PKing was like really a thing. And you could go to the Varrock ditch. Like if you take the
Yep.
path north of the Varrock East Bank and go up to that ditch. Before the ditch was there, like that fence area, there was tons of people there.
It was just like
free-to-play
open
worlds, almost
ground,
on
right? It
Every
was like
single
a forest that you just
Yeah.
eventually it became PvP. There's no ditch.
Yeah,
I
it
wish
was
I could
just-
have experienced that, dude.
Dude, like every
So
free to play world you went on, there was at least 10 people by that fence. And I remember like me and my buddy would just like make these new free to play accounts, call them something stupid like Slippy Slam 8 or some garbage, and drop them,
Fire
trade
Strike.
them over runes to get them levels for Fire Strike and just try to 2-shot people.
Holy
Like
shit!
you wouldn't really get money unless you got lucky, but it was just fun just
Yeah, just
training up
trying
an
to kill
account in like
people.
15 minutes, just running up and
Bro.
2-shotting.
I remember. Okay, so there was like a couple here. I'm gonna save your third one just because I need to interrupt because of just the glory days of going to the wilderness in 2005, 2006, just making a shit account that took 2 days to make. It really should take like 30 minutes, but I was so dumb that getting to level like 11 magic took literally 2 days for me. And but as soon as I had that account where you could start fire striking, my friend and I would get on the phone. And where like you had to like block all other phone calls or else your internet would wig out. And we would literally just sit there all night and just like form teams and stuff and just fire strike people. And it was lit. I remember it just being the absolute glory days. Like nothing could beat those moments. Just absolute bliss.
The stuff like that, like firebolting people at Castle Wars, dropping the rocks on people when Castle Wars had 400 people on each side. Dude, I'm getting sad thinking about this. Come on, man.
Yeah.
So what was your third? What was the third memory?
Okay, so you mentioned people being decked out in barrows. I might have been one of those people
Holy
because
shit.
I did barrows like pretty early on before. Like there was a time in old school or in RuneScape 2 where barrows armor did not degrade. And Jagex saw it as overpowered that it could not degrade. It was like,
what?
creeping out dragons, so they made it degrade into the way we have it nowadays.
Mm.
And I remember doing it. Like I would go in with full mystic, like legit full mystic, the gloves, the boots, looking like a modern day Chad and everything.
Yeah.
And it would fire blast my way to victory there. And I would have to skip, I'd have to skip Aram because I couldn't kill him. Like my melee stats weren't good enough. So I'm like, I'll just kill 5 of them. It'll be fine. And I still remember like my third, fourth, or something like really early on chest. I opened up and there was just like this thing in there, like this long looking thing, and it's called the Varrock's Bastard. I was like, wait, what the fuck is that? So
Holy.
I teleport my ass out back to Varrock, and I pull up the forums, and it says 3.1 mil, and my jaw just
You were going
dropped
crazy.
instantly. I was like, I'm rich.
Oh yeah, Broussard was probably it was like really popular back then too because of how it looked, wasn't it? Like
Yeah,
'Cause it
that, and
looked
you also
badass.
took it to Chaos Fight Queen back in the day. You needed the full set for it. It
oh,
was a
and
really
KQ
good
was
set.
yeah. I mean, what was the end game back then? KQ KBD and like Chaos Ellie. That was like literally the end game bosses.
Chaos Ellie wasn't out yet. That's the funny thing.
Oh damn! So it's
Oh,
literally
yeah,
KQ
that's like an
KBD.
old
Yeah,
That's like
it was
all you
literally-
really do.
Bro, it was literally Barrows, Calfight Queen, KBD was the endgame PVM, but a lot of people just played to PK. But
I was gonna say, yeah, then
Baroque
the end game
you gotta
naturally
remember.
became Mage Bank, right? Like people just go to MB and fight with whips and like barrows.
Yeah, you go to MB,
sick.
you could go to West Dragons, which is where I PK'd a lot of my time. I spent a lot of time at West Dragons.
T-Bones, probably
Yeah,
so good.
north of Edge Ditch, north of Varrock, where the Hill Giants was actually a pretty popular spot, like just southwest of East Dragons nowadays. Like that used to be a really
That
popular spot.
multi spot.
But
That's weird.
well,
I wonder why.
little confession, I never really PK'd much at Mage Bank way back in the day.
Really?
Yeah.
You're
I
too
mean,
I
I
just
never
like made
did it.
cheesy account. No, I made cheesy accounts. Like I never like took my main out there to PK.
That was
I always
main.
made
That was
shit
main.
accounts.
Shit. Like
Dude,
big risk, big out.
the footage you see from like way back where people are literally just maining god swords and just like literally doing 5-second 4-way switches. Like it's just
Yeah.
like pathetic. But
Well,
they're
the
just
engine
dominating.
didn't support it back then. Did you know that the engine was actually really bad back
That's
then?
what I
You couldn't-
heard.
You
Like-
couldn't one tick like you can. Like if you tried to do a 5-way one tick, like the first two might go off, and that's like it was just I didn't experience it, but all my friends who I've talked to who are old WoW PKers would say that like you see these guys doing like 2 ways and like barraging with their whips. I mean, one everybody was way worse, right? But
Yeah.
like a lot, I think were F keys a thing, a cold one, and like do you guys remember? I don't think F keys were
not
for a while
remember.
either, right?
No, way back when, no, they were not.
Way back when, yeah, F keys weren't a
Yeah.
thing. So like yeah, and you couldn't switch fast. Like you really couldn't. Even when old school came out, I think it was messed up, and then they eventually fixed it.
And everyone
Yeah,
had
quick-
like the most
quick bursts
dog
weren't a
shit
thing.
mice.
Orbs weren't a thing. It was a very, very cavemanish game back then.
Damn. Yeah, those are some crazy days. And I think, I don't know, just being older back then, I remember going to, like, I was in Boy Scouts as a kid, and I remember going to, like, this day camp when I was, like, 11 or something. And there were, like, some 15-year-olds that were there that were kind of like the guides, sort of, that would, like, help out the, like, smaller kids. And there was one kid in particular, and I just remember he said he had a 3 mil bank on RuneScape. I was like, mil? Like, not K, like mil.
Yeah, that was like crazy.
It just blew my mind. I'm like, bro, like, and when you try to like suck up to them, like maybe like get a few like K off
Maybe
of
you'll
them.
give me
or
a
something.
glory or something. Yeah.
Wait. So
How much
Glory,
were
glory back
Dragonstone
then
back?
were 100K. Remember?
Yeah, and that's like a lot of money, huh? Dude,
Yeah.
fresh. What was cool was fresh start was like because there's never, if you really think about it, there's never been a time other than the beginning of old school that has really happened. Because DMM's kind of different. It's so sped up. Fresh start was like actual like virgin RuneScape economy. You know what I mean? Like people needed D-bones for prayer for the first like 5 days. D-bones were like 9K a pop, and like the rate was like 1 to 50 for the first few days. You know what I mean? So like you'd PK 100K, and that's like 5 mil main game. Like you get 1 kill in the rev caves. It's like it was crazy. The economy was so like fresh. It's like dead now, but it was so fun doing that. I was just like a little pure. I rushed a baby pure and I PK'd the dragons like that. And like I would just roam around the wildy and kill like dragon killers for like literally like 2 mil, 3 mil, 07 kills and just D-bones and stuff. It was so cool.
Is there any way we could possibly recreate something like original Deadman mode or just any of those really glorious? Just like I think Leagues 1 was kind of good, but I think the original Deadman mode was just like wow,
It's too cool. Like I think they just need to stop doing a tourney, man. Like just like at this point, the tourneys are sick. If they could work right, it would be dope. But they never can, and it just kind of leaves a bad taste in everyone's mouth. Like just give us seasonals. People would love seasonal, and just let it end in a final hour. Like it doesn't even have to. Like it doesn't have to be for prize pool. I think people would just be happy to play DMM. Like just do a seasonal reset. They used to do it every season. Like do you remember those first early tourneys? Like
yeah, it was just always
Well, it
going
was like
on.
every
winter,
3 months
spring-
there was a new one
like,
going
dude, it
on.
was
There's
so
always something
hype.
exciting to look forward to. Even
I was
if
a
you weren't
huge
playing
noob.
it.
I didn't play it all. I was a huge pleb, but I would watch the streams. And it was like so entertaining watching the final hours. Like drew up a lot of hype for RuneScape like as a whole. And I think the interest is still there. Like you look at EVScape's Battle Royale and like when DMMs are happening, like people have insane views. Like the viewer count and the interest is still out there. It's just it needs to be like it just needs to be managed differently or just done more, I guess. I don't know.
So do they need to add special stuff every season, or do they just keep it the same? Because I'm not experienced with Deadman mode. I literally played the original one for like 30 minutes and then I lost all my shit and I was like, yeah, fuck this. But
You suck,
like
though.
what?
No, nothing. You're beautiful. What'd you say?
No, I had no idea what I was doing. By the way, this is way back when I was an absolute noob at the game too. So, but like, what do they have to do to keep it fresh, or do they have to do anything to keep it fresh? Can they just regurgitate the same thing over and over, or what?
Okay, I'm not a huge DMM player either, right? I'm mostly just deep wildy, so I'm not like the most knowledgeable person on this. But personally, for me, what I would think would make it more popular, I don't think they have to do the crazy. What were the things called? Relics. The relics, like they were like cooked, bro. Like you unfreeze,
Sigils,
like
that's what they were.
the sigils. Yeah, the sigils were just like fucking insane. Like seeing the Abdullah clip was like they should do the unfreeze. Like he's going crazy.
He lost his mind,
bro. The sigils were kind of insane, and like I think if you want, this is the problem with PKing is the top the top percent will farm on everyone, and people, not everyone just has the drive and the skill to keep rebuilding. You know what I mean? Like, so I think make it more forgiving. Maybe don't lose XP at all. Don't lose your bank slots. Maybe you just lose what you have on you, or if you do lose bank slots, don't make it as much. Like, that's just personally for me what I think would make it more successful. And I think people would still love it and still enjoy playing it. Teams would still play and compete. Newbier people could feel safer, like, doing things. It's like, okay, I got a Slayer task in Relica, right? Like, I'm just going to bring my D-Skimmy and, you know, a Strength Ammy and shit to go kill these. And that way, like, if they die, they're not losing 2 hours of training, everything in their bank, all their sharks, all their Peapots. You know, the average person isn't swapping in. They just want to play. And like, you know, the PKers still get stuff. You still get their skimmy, and you make yourself lose everything you have on you. Not like 3-item protect. You always lose everything on you. But I think that would be sick. Like, I would love that. I think a lot of other people would too, because it's just the punishment is like really hard. The average person who's coming home from work to like play doesn't want to play for 3 hours, get PK'd at the end of the night, and be like, well, there goes my whole night. Like, you know what I mean? And just not want to like play it again. But there might be a lot of people who play, like a diehard DMM fan, like players who are watching me right now are like, no, it should be hard. So like, I get that too, but I think accessibility for PvP as a whole, accessibility makes it easier.
What about you, Cold? Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I like the idea that Eliop like put out, but I want to like build on it a little bit. So his idea of like if you're not Skulled, you go out like, you know, you do a Dagonoth's task, go out there with monk robes, strength amulet, D-Simi, whatever, like right gear. If you die, you lose all that. You keep your stuff in your bank. I like that idea because it keeps the casual interested in playing, maybe building a bank. Maybe they just want to play to swap a little bit. Maybe they want to like get to do a raid, like, oh, let's go do a ToB because it's like, you know, 4x drop rates is 1 and 2 for purple. We could swap that. Maybe like we get the first Avernic in the game, we sell it to Oda Block because we did that in Reborn, like me, Addy, and like Be the Victim. We sold like a bunch of stuff out there, but we only played for like a couple of days. Like, the thing I want to build off of is the death mechanic system. Where, like, if you're not Skulled, I don't think you should lose all the stuff in your bank and all the, like, any of your stats. However, if you skull, that's when you start risking stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you'll risk, like, let's say, the top 10 slots in your bank and 80% of them. So, like, anyone that is, like, going out to farm people, like, I remember when Voss gets to, like, Warriors Guild at hour 12 or something, every Deadman mode, like, it is a fucking nightmare over there. Like, if you're not at the Warriors Guild ASAP, and you get there late, it's over. It's on lockdown. Yeah. You're not getting your defenders done. So, like, once they get there, they have the full advantage. Like, they can take anyone's life that they want to, because even if, like, they're there and, let's say, full black D-hide, they're not going to win. If they're not geared for a fight, they're not winning against that. But if, let's say, Voss attacks him, and Voss has got a skull above his head, Gargolon 52, that Voss has attacked, for example, like, maybe he's got, like, an MSB in his inventory, maybe he's got a DDS up his pocket, he's like, oh, maybe if I get a kill on this guy, I can take his bank. It's incentive to fight back for that person now. Where they're not really losing much, but now, like, Voss is holding it. Like, if he wants to get that 200k off that guy, he's got to be aware, like, he might anti me, he might take my bank.
True. Okay, so they did something in one of the most recent Deadman modes, it might have just been the last one, where they did, like, a world thing, where, like, as soon as you hit a certain level, you have to move on to a different category of world, where you're in your bracket again. How did that work? Do you guys know? Or, like, was it good to do that?
It was kind of both.
What was it? It was like combat bracket worlds, right?
Yeah, but you could lock your experience if you wanted to. And I remember Scout like made like an account to stay in the lowest bracket that could PK with Statius Warhammer, and that was actually some really fun stuff to watch.
I think that was cool. Maybe I it's good for like accessibility because you can't get dogged on by a 126. But I think for the overall visual activity of the game and stuff, having everybody on the same servers to me makes it more exciting. So maybe you could just make it so like maybe you could just add like a more traditional level bracket like in PvP worlds. Like, but then it lets like, you know, if you're a main, you might be locked out of a lot of fights. So that kind of, I can see how you wouldn't want that either. But I don't know, somewhere along the lines of like if you kill somebody who are lower level, they get punished even less, or like
Yeah, that would be
or
fair.
they already have it. So if like you're a high level and you kill a lower level or you skull on them, I think you get a much longer PK skull timer. Like if you're like max
if you're like
bracket,
way
you kill
above.
low bracket, yeah, you get like a 20-minute skull as opposed to maybe like a 5. Like stuff like that. Things that just make it so when you're bullying nakeds and noobs, you get punished harder and like they don't lose as much. Just make it not that worth it for them to do that, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, one thing I did like that the bracket worlds offered was you got an extra grace period every time you went to a new world. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, you've got
Oh,
1 hour
yeah.
of protection. So pick which content you want guaranteed to be completed within that hour. And we had to like write ourselves like, okay, we want piety unlocked because that jail cell during the defense attorney quest. If you've ever been in like older Dead Man's and you got caught out at that section, there's no escape at all. You cannot leave that unless it's a teleport. So if you don't get the freeze, you don't get the stand under, you're dead.
Shit.
Like there's no escape. So what we did like last world, we prioritized that quest. I remember like the whole entire piety line. So like it adds a little bit of depth to like how you want to build your account. Like you'd also do like early one, like when you get the second grace period. I think when we got to level 36 combat, you could also go the route of finishing dig site because that one's a nightmare to do on Dead Men as well. But it was like an actual offer, like saying, "Hey, you're building your account. You get to this level. Here's some grace period. Take it when you want. You get 1 hour, and it starts ticking down, so you can like actually build your account and not get disrupted." But like you'll still find people that go and do dig site or go and do like King's Ransom unprotected. Like it's still going to happen. It's not like everyone's going to take that because everyone wants to build their account a different way. But I
Okay.
did like what they offered us.
So if you guys were to, I know we kind of already touched on this, but if there's anything that you think would be really good for Deadman mode, if you could just add it, what would it be? It just something crazy or just anything that you've thought of, even if it might not be an unpopular opinion. Do you guys have anything that would just you think would make it a lot better?
Would make DMM a lot better?
Yeah, just anything that you've thought of that maybe is unpopular, preferably unpopular, just because
Yeah.
I feel like throwing out ideas, even if they sound crazy, could bring healthy ideas to the future of Deadman mode or whatever they come out that's PvP based.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think that's all I really have. I'm like not that experienced of a Deadman player, honestly. I actually played a fair shake, only like tourneys, and the last tourney that I actually played, I got COVID right when it came out, and I was like just super sick, super burnt. And like I grinded super hard, got to Monkey Madness 2, and then died on my way to the GE, and I was like, so burnt out and COVIDed out. I just didn't even want to play. But I think accessibility, that's all I have. It's just like make it less punishing when you die, and
Okay.
give
A
us
cold one?
seasonals. Doesn't have to be a big tourney.
Do you have anything? That's like
I don't think this one's like too controversial. Maybe it is for like the upper ones who can win tournaments consistently. Like compared to what EVScape had, like EVScape's Battle Royale was held on a strict world that I don't think the like address for it is like public or whatever. But Jagex isn't really able to do that. So I don't think they should really be hosting tournaments, especially when it's not held on public land, you know? Like a lot of other tournaments will do that. When you see the League of Legends finales, it's held on public land. Like it's impossible for it to get DDoSed. Jagex can't do that. So I don't think they should be putting money up on the line, especially because money will just incentivize. It will encourage like ill will activity. Like if we just had them every 3 months, like a repeating season, like 1 month of seasonal goes down, and then 7 weeks later we have like the week of one world only accessible to the top 2,000 people or however the hell they want to grade it. Because you'd be surprised how much the ecosystem changes when there is only one world. If you remember the old days when Fools and Blazers had that alliance to completely lock down the Shiloh Village quest, I still say to this day was probably one of the coolest moments in gaming history.
Really? So locking people to one, well, you'd have to fucking just completely throw away the old servers and bring some new servers if you wanted like one world. But
not necessarily, because like old days of Deadman mode, you'd have like a bunch of worlds open right off the get-go. They'd start taking them out as it got less popular. And then for the finale, where it's just only 2,000 people are able to play it because they're the top 2,000.
Oh, I see.
It was a week of just one world and one world only.
So
there was actual competition for resources.
Yeah, that sounds like really cool. Unfortunately, I feel like people do want to play Deadman mode casually, but really all the fun, at least from the spectator's perspective, like me, I love watching it when clans go head to head. It's so fun to watch. Like
clan content is clan beef, like clan fights in general are content, but it's multi-sync as whatever. It's entertaining, man. It's
It is.
content.
Dude, you remember the clan fights at
Corp?
Corp in Dead Man Reborn?
Oh,
That shit
yeah,
was off the
dude.
chain.
I wasn't there, but I was watching it like in screen shares and stuff. It was insane, bro. You just find out another team was fighting Corp and like, oh, let's go pull up, dude. Like, that's so cool.
One moment I remember is it must have been, I don't even know when it was, but it was when like there was a huge clan at KBD and then like a few ROT members that came, I think like went in there. And then they got everyone to tag them so they couldn't teleport.
I've seen
and
that
then,
video.
Yeah, and then they all like
know what you're
joined
talking
in
about.
and they just like demolished them. I was like,
They
holy
baited like
fuck.
3 ROT went in to bait everyone's skull, and then they mass logged it with like 80 people and just like cleared it.
Like,
I know
that's
exactly. I don't know
so
what that video is.
dope.
But I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I remember that now. Holy shit.
Yeah,
There's
like
that,
that
like,
shit
dude, or
is
like when
cool.
like old DMMs was like one of the first few, like Blazers and like Ian Spam Wiggled, all those guys were locking down what was it? It was by Shiloh. There's like a multi-cave
Yeah,
entrance over there.
Yeah,
that's the
that's
one I'm
what
talking
Nicole was
about.
talking about.
Yeah, that season was
not KPG.
the nuttiest thing.
Yep.
And it was like an
that's what you were
invasion.
talking about. Yeah.
I wasn't part of Blazers. Like, I'm still not part of
Shiloh,
Blazers.
yeah.
But like, I've heard like stuff from Shawnee, who I chat to occasionally, and he was telling me he'd get calls on like what's that app called? WhatsApp, I think it is, that like people in Europe use. And he'd be getting calls on that at like 3 a.m. saying like Shadow's getting raided. Like, everyone log in. Just everyone has to wake up and log into the Dead Man account.
Who's online? Ding dong, ding dong. Get up.
Exactly.
Dude, it's so intense too, because like back then, like you're pulling up to these wars, and it's like, if I die, like, you know what I mean? Like it's not like Wildy. Like, I'm not gonna run to the bank, throw on my return set, and tell you up. It's like, oh, well, I'm dead now. I lost all my stats. I have to go train. Like,
this is
so
old
much
Dead
more
Man
weight.
mechanics
Yeah,
with
it's
one
so much
world,
more
and
weight
you don't have like a level 3 alt unless you trained it to be top 2K. Like,
yeah.
Holy
that's
shit.
what you got. I missed that. And then like the next season, or like a month later, they made it singles because Reddit complained about it, and Reddit doesn't play Dead Man mode, so I was so confused.
Yeah, like for me, I just like the entertainment value of it. I'm not the one
Yeah.
playing. If I was playing, I'd probably have a way different opinion, but I just enjoy the content and I love
I think a lot of people do. Like,
Yeah.
even people who don't PK, it's just like when there's people like stuff happening. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
people like when the community is all like involved in a thing that is happening. It's like, oh, did you hear Bodhi fucking got, Bodhi pulled a fang. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like when everyone's on the same servers. Fresh Start gave us a little glimpse of that. It didn't not that many people played, but
Yeah.
the first week or so it was like that. Like, whenever there's a reset and everyone's really into it. And Leagues is cool, but I think it being Iron Man kind of takes away from that. Like,
It does.
it's not, you're not all in it together. You're all doing your own thing, kind of, and like.
That's how I've felt about leagues. The problem is that I feel like everyone has this weird idea that leagues is supposed to be competitive, and so by bringing it, by making people mains, it's gonna ruin that. But like, who cares? Like, I don't like have a league where people are just mains. I think that would be really fun. Yeah, obviously the competition would be like, you're getting fed, but you could have a league where it's not about the competition. It's just about like just having fun and just fucking around for 6 weeks.
It's because of the dragon trophies that are assigned to it that it has to be Iron Man, I think.
That's annoying, in my opinion.
A little bit, but hey, you know what those dragon trophies are? They're unpolled, discontinued, untradeable items.
I know. God
and I got
damn
3
it.
of them. I got 3 of them.
You got all of them, really?
Hell yeah.
You're a beast. Yeah, I can't do that shit. I burn out. I didn't even play Leagues 1 and 2. I just refused to do it. And then Leagues 3, I played for 3 days, and I was like, I'm so fucking burned. Like, I
haven't played any of them.
It's
yeah,
tough.
I still remember Leagues 1, like when it came out. Like, I was excited for that. I wasn't excited for Group Iron Man mode. I was excited when they announced. Actually, no, wait. 2019, they didn't announce like their other iteration of Bounty Hunter. I'm mixing it with 2018's like promise. But like, I was excited for the Twisted League when it came out. And the first 2 days, like, I just went hard as hell, even though like it was scuffed. It was just flat 5x experience rate at the start or something. The relics were like kind of underpowered except for running in the early days. But we were just going hard. Not a lot of people knew Zaya. The people that did play Iron Man knew Zaya. It's like me and a few friends went nuts on it. And I remember, I think it was like end of day 2. I ended rank 16 overall or something like that. Like really, like front page. Like one of my buddies, Tally, ended rank 1 on day 2 or something like that. And then I went to my girlfriend's house at the time for like 2 days, and I came back. I was rank 500. I was like, okay, well, I'm not playing for ranks anymore.
Yeah.
The hell with that.
Yeah.
It was like fun chasing ranks. Like, I get the appeal why Ditter and like why Mads go for it and everything.
yeah,
like, it's kind of exciting. Like, the competition's there. Like, there is some.
Yeah.
And it's all like friendly competition. Like, no one's like that heated at each other or anything. Like, it's just fun.
Yeah,
But
you definitely got to have a lot of spare time on your hand, and you got to be super motivated. But I do understand that because the only time I've ever felt that way is when Hardcore Iron Man first came out. I was super addicted to ranks, but I was still like super newbie, but I still just loved logging in and checking my rank. Like,
yep,
it was fun.
the appeal's there when you're up on the higher echelon.
Oh yeah,
Definitely is.
oh yeah.
So I
So
get what everybody goes hard over it.
I want to ask a little bit about just the state of the wilderness. The reason I want to bring that up is because recently I had Mod Soften, West Ham, and Belle Delphine talking about the wilderness expansion. And I want to kind of get your thoughts, especially Eli, and yours as well, a cold one, on just like what you would want to see from the wilderness and what you believe could help it out, or what you think would be a healthy addition to the wilderness. If it's already something that has been proposed, you can add that. But if there's something that is on your mind, you can also add it. So, what would you say?
At its simplest, without complaining about the way it is now or anything, I think what makes activity in the wilderness and in this game in general is that people want to progress, right? People want to put time in and feel like they're being rewarded for their efforts. And the wilderness, its whole thing, the whole point of wildy activities is risk versus reward, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna the risk is your time, your gear, everything. Anything out there is risky, so the reward needs to be adequate. And back in the day, like we were talking about how Dragon Bones were like 10k a piece, PKing East and West was super profitable. All these things were great, but now we have bosses that drop no to Dragon Bones. We have bots. Like the resources that used to make it profitable aren't profitable anymore, right? The only thing that you can really do out there that is worthwhile is kill revs. And you just basically need profitability. Like it needs to be super profitable, or at least close to some of the other best money makers in the game. Because like, why would you go kill something in the wilderness for 3 mil an hour when you can go kill Vorkaf in a safe zone, or anything like do raids in a safe zone for even more than that per hour?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just that adding incentives, like whether it's brawlers or stuff that gives slightly better XP or like double resources, things like that. And everyone like always says that I cry about this so much, but I think the PJ timer was also really bad just because it just kills all like social activity out there. Like there's no other than multi, but multi is not really what people think it is. It's not like you want to PK with your friends, go to multi. Like if you go to multi with 3 friends, you're just gonna end up getting smoked by a massive team in rag. Like singles, you could all be in decent gear. You could go on a 3-man trip in 20 mil sets. And even if you got hit by a team of 30, you could work together and get a box or get an escape. Like the analogy I use, without trying to ramble too far here about comparing these two, is like a skilled tank can tank a 50-man team in singles, like with a decent margin as long as they're maintaining their supplies. A skilled tank in multi will die to a 50-man team like every single time, no matter what. You know what I mean? Like you can navigate out of situations in singles. And the removal of that it didn't just kill giant teams, it killed, 3-man mystic trips, it killed going out on ancients while your friends on TBs PKing together, running into another duo. It killed all like variability. It's just
I see.
max metascape, Zerite crossbow, ancient godsword because that's the maximum outlast, and you just basically relive the same fight over and over every day, over and over and over, fishing for good RNG to KO your opponent. It's not like I'm low on supplies, I need to move to this escape, that type of shit.
You explained that actually very well. I've actually heard this same sort of argument, but I never fully like understood. But yeah, you definitely painted a clear picture about it. Really does just there's a meta that dominates everything.
Yeah, there's so many angles to it too, and like a lot of people will still listen to this and super disagree with me and stuff and say that teams are OP. And the thing is, they're very right. Singles teams have become insanely OP. The thing is, back in the day, it didn't like that. If I got hit by 30 people at Mage Bank in 2015, all they have are Master Wands, Mage Arena 1 capes, Arims, you know what I mean? They don't have Zerites, they don't have Crystal Bofa that hits with 4 tick, they don't have Ancestral, they don't have Volatiles, they don't have, all they have is Debos and God Swords. The DPS that a coordinated group of players can deal now is insanely high. It's like, I don't even know how to exponentially put it. It's probably 10x do back then, or maybe 8x. Like
I'd put it
there
at
needs to be a buff to survivability. Yeah, 3x. That's pretty fair. Yeah, 10x is pretty insane. But like, it's just the accuracy, the ability to catch freezes, like the ability and like the damage and coordination a coordinated group of people can do is way more than what it was back in the day. If you got fooled on 6 brews at Mage Bank back in the day, you weren't panicking. If you get fooled on 6 brews now, it's probably GG unless you get a box. Like, well, that's not a thing anymore, right? But I mean, like before the PJ timer was added in.
So I want to.
Yeah, you're dead unless you get a freeze and step under and then play their flowers.
Yeah. Now the meta is just log out, which I also think is very corny and shouldn't ever be like the meta to escape. Like in video games, is to log out of the combat situation. Like
I'm so excited to build on this when you're done.
So I'm
Yeah.
gonna bring up
You
one
got me
thing
with it.
before I let you go, a cold one. But I was just thinking, what if there was, and this is just going off of the point that DPS has just been incredibly increased since like
Yep.
the olden days. What if there was a way, or like maybe a server, or a world, or something where you could go out, enjoy the wilderness with like the really shit gear that we experienced in the beginning of old school, or something where you have all the old mechanics of the wilderness again, but you get to do it in a more classic style without incredibly OP gear.
Yeah.
Would that even be something that anybody would want, or am I just saying a stupid idea?
I mean, I would want it, but I don't think enough people want it for it to be active. And it's like,
Right.
where do you draw the line? We're going to make this server 2008, but we're not going to add SERP and staff, but you'll have print. You know what I mean? Like, it's so hard to draw the line.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think it just needs to be balanced. Like, this just sounds like a simple band-aid solution, but 6-dose flask, bro. Like, if you remove the PJ timer, give everybody access to 6-dose flask, that makes everyone's inventories instantly has 50% more food, right? Average full NV hybrid setup, you have about 800 to 1,000 damage, right? That's like if you're really packing, you have about that much to tank, which is a lot. That's a lot of damage. You could get in a fight for 200 damage, try to get your KO off, and then get out of the wildy without a team hitting you. I think 6-dose flask is like the simplest thing, and like that's if they would ever add old PJ mechanics back. I mean,
Yeah.
and also, what was I gonna say? There's one other thing. You could make it risk reward, right? Like, so you'd only bring those if you were in really big risk. Like, maybe make them a drop from Wildy Slayer, like a flask clamp that, you know what I mean, that goes on a flask, and it costs like 100k per brew flask that you bring, but you know what I mean. You'll have that extra survivability to tank a team like that. Like, that's just ways that you can tie in survivability, and you can make those drops be on the drop tables of things that are profitable. Like, there's ways you can tie it all together into the Wildy, I think, and still have the old mechanics. I'll let a cool one go because I can literally just go down rabbit holes like endlessly.
I know. I could do the same. I want to say, like, first and foremost, like, obviously people are going to disagree with you, but you're like, oh, he's a PK, or
he's a clanner.
He just wants to farm us and everything. Hey, guys, PvM or the solo ToB on a hardcore guy. I agree with his take. Because singles PKing sucks now. I agree with it. It's very, very stale meta at this point. Like, either you go out there, like, you can watch, like, a skill spec stream. You could watch a Dino stream, a West Ham stream, an Eli stream if he goes to the Rev Caves. Yeah. It's all the same. They're either out there in Void with fucking Ancient Godsword and Zarite Crossbow, or Ancient Godsword, Microwave, DCB, whatever.
Bofa,
like, the meta is incredibly stale.
Same. It's just insane. If you're not in that gear, and that's accessibility ties in. I don't want to tangent too long to cut you off, but like, you can't go out in Mystic like you used to back in the day. If you went out in Mystic to North Cave, you're gonna get, unless you find another Mysticer, which is very rare, but you're gonna get absolutely shit splacked by somebody who's way better than you and has 100x the risk. They're gonna smoke you.
And the thing is, like, you can go out in that style of risk, like going out with ZCB, Ancient Godsword, Toxic Staff of the Dead, like full max everything. Like, you're risking, like, 200 mil. But the thing is, it's incredibly safe nowadays because, like, if the fight's not going your way, you're on 2 brews left, and your, like, opponent is either on Ancients / it doesn't have a magic cape to teleblock you. You can just make it to 30s and leave, or free step under and log. Because that's the thing. Nobody can.
Don't even need last hit. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, there's no skill involved in escaping it. Like in old Rev Caves, you'd have to freeze the person on you and deal the last hit of damage. Like, you'd have to get the last hit on them and then get out of line of sight to log out. Now, they can you can freeze somebody that can bolt you 3 times. You can still log. The logout timer, it says 10 seconds when it says in the game chat box.
Yeah, it's 9.6.
It's not. Yeah, it feels even less in PvP scenarios, but that's probably.
There are some times where I've had an escape and it literally felt like 7 seconds.
Dude,
but
I'm telling you, I think it's more like 7 or 8. I know, like,
I've had one experience where it literally felt like 7 seconds. I'm like, that was not 10 seconds.
Yeah, like I've froze somebody or they froze me and stepped under, and I look at the little timer on RuneLite and it says like 9. I'm like, I should have this. I'm good because it's less than 10, right? And I'm spamming and they still get the log. I'm like, dude, how is that? How?
So, I'll give you like one insight to mechanic as far as logging goes. The determination, like for the beginning of your new logout timer, isn't when the projectile lands; it's when it's cast.
Okay.
So let's say somebody casts an Ice Barrage on you from
minute.
like max range,
Yep,
and it takes like I think 2.4 seconds for the projectile to land. That new logout timer starts when they cast it. So that's why it might feel like 7
that's probably why
it felt like it is 9.6.
Yeah,
interesting.
that's more than likely why. But even then, like it's just it's so stupid.
It's dumb that that's
you
the
can just
meta.
freeze a guy, step under, and be like, I'll just
dumb
skip
that the meta for anything you do, like say you want to go fish dark crabs and max, like Poison Potion made a sick video on that. Yeah, it's like you're not bringing gear and stuff to like make it to the proper escape. Like in the past, I have to make sure I have enough supplies packed to make the lever. You're bringing a 3-way mage switch so you can freeze them and log out of the game. Like it's kind of lame. Like I could see if like I would compromise if they brought back old Rev Cave single plus where it was last hit. Like it wasn't just a total PJ fest. But I think the old PJ Fest was super fun, to be fair. Like it aids moments, like, but when you're like a maxer at Alter, like I'm out at Alter streaming in like a 60 mil set, right? And I come across a little 4-man squad of Mysticers. Like, yeah, they can pass me around, but I'm out gearing the shit out of them. So like I should beat one up. If I get a chance to KO one, he gets a 2 health. Sure, he can be like, hit him, help me. Like, they're working together, and like they might have one guy on TB, and even though there's 4 of them and only 1 of me, I'm in better gear, but they could get a TB on me, and all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, I got to navigate. Do I have enough brews to make it to Anku's? Should I just go for Godwar's Dungeon and like juke them on the cave entrance? Like these there were skills in the wildy that weren't just mechanical, like that weren't just freeze log, last hit, flicking tank. Like there were skills like luring your opponent into a position where like they think that they're up on you, but your buddy's ready to help you out, or like it just created for an endless, exponential amount of possibilities.
Would you say would you say it's better to, whatever way possible, to just remove the ability really to just log out and cheese the log out and make it? First of all, what I've been hearing and what I think could be a solution, and I'm just thinking because I've had some great jukes as well in my time in the wilderness, where like I'll have 3 people on me and I'll do some you brought it up with the God Wars dungeon in the wilderness. Like that place you can juke so hard in so many areas.
Anything like that. Anywhere you can break like the map, like you can just go up and down and juke them out. Get gap.
I feel like if they added more stuff like that, they really could get rid of that possibility. But it really sucks when you're like wide open wilderness and you're like, okay, well, I'm just fucked. Like there's nothing.
That's the thing, right? If you're places that happens, right? Would be like Callisto Strip, or like up at Mage Bank as well. But at Mage Bank, if you bring a lockpick, you have the Pirate Hut, you have Fire Giants. Like I've a lot of people think of Mage Bank as the most like dangerous place, and it is one of the most dangerous just because you can't get down to 30 line, but you have so many escapes. Like I was always the most comfortable tanking there. I mean, obviously I PK there a lot, so I would be, but the risk should match the reward, right? So if you're up at Callisto Strip risking your bank and a team could hit me here, Callisto should be printing money. Like, and that's the whole thing about accessibility. Like, it's less punishing when you die to a max team for your 1 mil Mystic set if you know that every time you go up there, like revs, you have a chance at getting a 1 mil PK from somebody farming wildy activity. Like, if everyone's making a few mil per hour killing Callisto on like a world, which they are doing, by the way, which I think is very good. Like they are listening to the risk versus reward argument. But another big problem with the PJ timer is single to multi is totally broken. Like this is a whole other rabbit hole we can go down. But like in the past, if I'm, me and Ditterbitter are on a 2-man trip at single ship. Yeah, we're both in Ancestral, so we're not trying to go multi, but Rot have 30 people on the multi line. We should be able to barrage all of them from singles, like uncontestedly, right? Like if they're all in range of us, we should be able to hit them all. The way it works now, if Rot catches 1 freeze on Ditterbitter from multi and he's in spear range, they run out of multi and start spearing him in, I should be able to freeze all of them in multi and like maybe even hit the guy off Ditter. But because of the PJ timer, if one person from multi bolts me back, I am now locked out of the fight for 12 seconds.
That is so dumb.
I can't help Ditter. I can't, if they're all running into Mace him or Ancient Godsword him, in the past, one man could do a huge effect in that fight, even though it's 2v40. I could freeze 10 of them, 20 of them, which would save Ditter's life, right? But instead, they'll just send one dumb Bolt Ragger and one item to run out and hit me, and now I just have to stand and watch my friend get smoked. And like the multi-team
this is something a lot of people don't know about either with the new changes.
People don't get it. Like they just think that, well, teams can't team up on me. And another broken abuse of it is if you're fighting an opponent who have more players than you. I learned this in free-to-play. It's like a niche scenario, but at RuneRocks and free-to-play, I was fighting this guy, and free-to-play is very primitive, right? You're just maple short bowing and skinning each other and trying to run each other. So it's very primitive PKing. You're not overheading. If you overhead, no one would die. So you're just fighting. Yeah, it's like cavemen fighting. The guy I was fighting, we all logged in. There's literally 10 to 12 of us on stream fighting this guy. And I knew he was baiting us for a clan. But his clan was banking because we had just cleared them. And he's like, I'm going to show you guys how easy it is to get away. He ran into multi once he was almost out, prayed range, ran into multi, shot his friend in multi while we all piled him, and then ran back into singles. And since he hit his friend, no one else could hit him, and he could log out, even though he was out of food.
Fuck?
So it's like you can just abuse the timer the single to multi-timer is totally like it just ruined it. NPCs also break it. Like let's say Ditter's getting speared in at Rune Rocks and a red spider happens to walk by and tap me. I'm now locked out of the fight for 12 seconds. Like it's just
So dumb.
it's not like it doesn't work properly. It broke a lot of things that people who haven't put like tons of hour into wouldn't really realize or ever really impact their play, but it's disrupted like so much of the natural flow of like, because the Wildy was built balanced like with escapes. Like that's why the axe hut exists and the resource area exists. You can go into
I
the axe
remember
hut.
the old standoffs, like old rev caves, like at the single to multi, like at that line. If you got caught there, it was
like
it
three
was
maxers
fucking
could have hold off an entire multi-team just by standing there barraging, like, because they're trying to get you in multi. I have a video of me and Titterbitter both dying for like absolute max, but it was the same scenario. It was like me, Ditter, West Ham, and Stewie. There's only 4 of us against like a team of 10 to 15 people in a multi-clan, and this is old timer, and we're just standing in singles, like calling out clumps, like barraging them from singles. Like none of those interactions can happen anymore. Like the only thing that can happen is what we talked about earlier, is Max Void ZCB versus ZCB and Ancient Godsword. Like it's just the same. Like the Wildy went from this rugged, unpredictable, infinite outcome zone to like a place to 1v1 in sweaty gear, and that's it. And we had places for that, you know. We had BH worlds, we had PvP worlds. If that's what everyone wanted, they could have went to those places and done that.
That's a good point.
I know Sada remembers like the old days, like 2K revs, like way back when, like the days of multi revs. Like you ever go on a PK trip? I don't know how like much you like went out with us,
dude. There was
it was so fun.
There was so many good times, and those are the times where I truly, even though I really just wanted to get my weapons and dip, I truly did enjoy those like really rare moments where you'd have 2 massive clans battling it out, and we're just there, we're like running back, and like I'm in my Ironman gear, so whenever I die, it's like actually a big fucking blow to my bank, but I'm like, fuck it, this is fun, and just run back in there, and you're just messing around, and like that was really fun, and I really do wish that there at least was a portion of the cave that was multi or something that's, and this is what they've kind of proposed with the new like wilderness expansion, just adding more multi areas. I don't know exactly how the wilderness bosses are going to work out with that, but there was, you know, I wouldn't have admitted it back then, but there was something really special about like the kind of like mob mentality, sort of mafia, like ruling that thing, because you would try to take it over and it would be like an actual competition because there's 2 clans that are super, you know, into taking over, and it's just fun. I don't know. And
noobs, and like, you know, 2 big clans fighting, and then, you know, maybe fucking like, you know, little Jimmy and his squad of 6 dudes with ballistas just rock
they
up
just
in the
randomly
corner.
run in there. They joined
the resource there was so valuable and printing so much money that it was accessible to everyone, right? Like you could go there and dog shit gear and make money. That's how the majority of the wilderness should be.
Dude, one of the like it pissed me off in the moment when I think back. It was just glorious times. Is when Spark Mac would go live with the fucking tribe, and like I'm there in 2K worlds, and we're just like peeping his stream. We're like, dude, like we got to be fucking careful. You just see these guys with the tribal mask logging, like log.
We're fucked. Log out.
Remember the times we had to quickly unequip our fucking Salvii and drop that shit to come back and get it?
I remember I'd bring my own tribe mask just to like fucking juke him out. Like, it was so
Big
bad.
Brain.
Yeah, those were good times though, truly.
Yeah. Okay, so something I want to build on, like with kind of like Eli's point about like a multi hotspot. Currently in the game, there's 2 multi quote unquote hotspots, and it's just Alter and Vedion. That's it. But not like both of them combined don't even hold the candles to like what the multi hotspot was for revs back in the day.
Oh yeah,
not even close.
Where, like, you could go into any world, farming, right? Like there's not something there to contest. There's not something to fight over.
Like back then when it was multi, you could go on any world, like quite literally any world. And the only reason there wouldn't be a single soul in there is because it just got cleared seconds ago, and you just missed the fight.
And there's you're hopping around like bolts and bones on the floor.
It's funny
like, if you're hopping around, you'll see someone on Dragon Demon, you'll see someone on Knight Hellhound, you'll see someone on Orc Cyclops, you'll see someone on Orc Dark Beast.
You mean like today?
On every world.
Oh, you mean back?
Like no, I'm talking the old like setups.
Yeah,
bro. I just remember like when a world was cleared and you'd walk in, there was just one dude on like 4 different revs, just having a good old grand time. Like, it just got cleared. Like I'm just fucking taking.
And it's only gonna stay like that for like 4 minutes,
2
5
seconds,
minutes, until someone else rolls through with their little team.
The thing is, like, I might be biased just because it's something me and my friends used to do pretty often. Yeah. Like when multi-res was a thing, we would log out just east of that wall where the Hellhound was, like just on the other side of it.
And then
like
DD,
4 of us
log in
like
DD.
All DD log. 3 of us had claws. 1 of us had a D spear. and I was the D-Spear guy because at the time I was still Iron. So
I
we
did
would
a
all
little
like,
bit of that.
venge stall into one guy that was farming typically on like Dragon,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just venge into him, spear him, and triple claw spec him out, and get the hell out of there.
See,
Just keep doing that on repeat.
this
It was fun.
this is the really sad part, and this is something I always get to the point of whenever I have a PK conversation is like, Iron Man kind of destroyed a big portion of incentive for just going out into the wilderness because Iron Men don't get any incentive. They're just out
Right.
there and they're just basically
it all.
a fucking scapegoat.
Any encounter is griefing. Like it's
E-
not really because
exactly.
they accept it, but I get that perspective. It's like
And that's what sucks in a way.
because they
It's
don't
like
have anything to gain.
there's no way to really go about it differently. LMS is nice because you do get to just like enjoy a fight and you actually get rewarded for it. But like seriously, when I was out in Revs, there were seriously times where I was like, dude, I'm pretty tempted to make a main account and just fucking like have more fun out here and do this. But there's so many people that are Iron Men now and they just can't get that fulfillment of being out in the wilderness and enjoying that, which really just kind of sucks because I feel like that honestly does impede a lot of the wilderness updates is because there's just so many people that have zero incentive.
A lot of Iron Man.
They make a good change recently though with the keys. How you can like
Yep.
kill someone as an Iron Man, get the key, and then like give it to your main or whatever.
That's
Yeah,
So
fun
you can
fact,
either do that.
I died to an Iron Man today. I died to an Iron Man for about 114 mil. I was at the altar and they had a guy dressed up like an Iron with Bofa, and he was in full dire gear. I'm like,
Holy.
this Iron's doing his clue. He might have his. I mean, I was being dumb.
Yeah.
I knew what he was doing, but I chased him in and he ZGS'd me, and the fucking all of Vitality logged in and smoked me for 100 mil. And it was the Iron Man's key. Because he was in
Holy
Edgeville,
shit.
scald with the key, so I watched him go pull lever and kill him on his main, and he sold me my setback. But like, yeah,
Damn.
but that is cool, right? Because like you can use
Yeah,
Iron Man to do
you're
that stuff
actually
now.
able to fight back.
Iron
and
Man
it's
can actually.
meaningful.
So like, what they could do is like they just need to make updates like that would incentivize Irons more. Like I think it was on Sofen's expansion actually where they talked about this, but it was like something that would award like Saradomin's Grace or something that gives you as a PvMer, like if you activate this certain thing, like maybe you I don't know exactly, like it has to have some kind of downside, or like maybe you can never skull, or you can't, your spec regen or some weird downside, but like if you kill another player with this Grace thing on you, you have more defense, or like
something like that.
You get rewarded. 'Cause the hard thing is making it so people can't abuse it and boost it, which is almost impossible. But maybe when you get a big kill, somehow you can talk to, the emblem trader as an Iron, and you can cash it in for blighted wildy supplies that you can continue using. Like I just killed a maxer for 100 mil. Maybe that converts into this X amount of, trader points, and now I can buy a bunch of brews, and I don't have to use my own supplies when I do wildy activities, or like things like that.
That would be nice.
Like,
get some
it would
blighted
have to-
brews in the game.
Yeah, blighted brews, blighted restores, like you get stuff, but the only place it benefits you is in the wildy, so it encourages you to go back, out, and also encourages you to fight and like engage in PvP activity. Like you're not just a punching bag with nothing to gain. Like you actually get big rewards if you kill somebody for max.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was an interesting idea. It's really hard when any great idea like that comes out because you just see the abuse that could be potentially brought, and you're like, God damn it.
But her expansion, we haven't talked about. That was kind of how we started this. But dude, her expansion is sick. Everything that I've seen from Modsoft so far. This is what I think. I think that the current PJ timer, like I hate it. I'm okay with it existing, but I think they just need to add zones with the old timer and make them more rewarding because they're more dangerous, right? Like if it's a single zone, like maybe like they add the expansion, right? And they decide to make Mage Bank. Like what I think is a good compromise is make north of the Deep Wildy Fence old timer, and everything south can be the new timer, right? So that the only place you can get clanned on is up at Mage Bank, up at resource area, those areas. But they would have to add an equally rewarding. Maybe there's a single Slayer cave underneath a Mage Bank that gives really good loot key chances and really good Laren's key chances and good loot. You know what I mean? Like it has to have good loot because you can get clanned, but like the clans can also get clanned. That's what people don't realize is like if a team of 10 log in on you, that doesn't mean there's not a team of 30 waiting to smoke them. Like it creates this dynamic where anything can happen.
It's true.
Like, but the reward needs to match it
a little bit too when you're done, like the standard ecosystem of the wilderness.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Something I use as an example, I guess spoilers for my episode that comes out on the 22nd, which is like 2 days away, so I didn't spoil much. Like Wilderness Slayer is incredibly nuts at low levels.
It's
and
busted.
Yeah, like if you're not a broke bitch and you can afford a cannon, it's insane. Like you get a Greater Demons task, you're looking at 50,000 Slayer experience per hour at level 1 Slayer. That's nuts. You're not getting that from another Slayer master, especially at your combat level. So it's like what I've been doing for like the new YouTube account. It's insane. Like, yeah, the risk is there. You're in the new Wilderness Slayer cave. It's above the 20 line. You need to like, right click your glory that you've got equipped to teleport to Edfield. It's not like a one click thing for early accounts. But like you're risking like some money. Like I'm bringing Alex out there. You risk a little bit, but the Slayer experience you get out of it is insane.
Yep. I also
you can kind of compare this to like Black Chins as well. It's the best hunter experience in the game. You can lay a 6th trap down, but you can get attacked, so risk versus reward.
Yeah, I think that should be more like. I think brawlers were sick. Like I think it's gonna be really hard to get anything that improves XP rates because people will complain so much. But like, why not? Exactly what you said. And or like not. I think XP rate is a worse incentive than GP. Like I think the wilderness. This is another analogy I've always made is like when you're doing stuff in RuneScape, you want one of 3 things, right? You want the best GP, the best XP, or the most AFK. The wildy should be the best at least one of all 3 of those things. Yeah, like it should be insanely AFK and good XP, but no, not much reward, or like it's really intensive, but you're making a ton of money and XP. Like it should the wildy should always be the best of one of those 3 things for any skilling method. Like because that way you're always the risk is that you can get PK'd and you're probably not going to get those rates because you're going to get PK'd sometimes. Like chins are the perfect. I think chins are like the epitome of like what the wildy should be, like that type of thing.
I think it makes a lot of people mad. I still think the wildy should be like just best flat GP per hour, but you've got Tomes of a Mascot, which I think is like still rivaling Nex as far as money per hour in like low size teams. But which like nothing in the wilderness really holds a candle to that. Like what do we get for like best GP per hour in the wilderness right now?
I mean, if you do revs with Forintry Surge and like all that shit and you're cranking them out, it is really good. But that's it. That's the only actual competitive relative to the rest of the game moneymaker in RuneScape is revs. Like it shouldn't be like that. Every NPC, like a wildy global drop table is one that I've said a lot. Like, and if they're planning on adding these tier 20 armors and weapons that they mentioned in the summit, that's the perfect place to do it. Just add a global wildy drop table. Like give everything give everything a chance to drop these weapons. Everyone will do wildy slay. It instantly makes it all way more profitable. Like instantly.
Is that good though to give everything that chance, or is it better to almost put hotspots in?
Yeah, I think hotspots are better. I would prefer new, unique content, but you could also just refurbish old content. Like the old Fire Giant dungeon down there. Like it's all good areas. Like the Mage Bank Fire Giant dungeon is like a cool, unique PKing area with escapes. It has the shortcut there. It has the staircase you can juke them on. The pirate hut. Like it has a unique, dynamic area. There's just nothing really there. There's no real reason to go there other than for Wildy Slayer. But
that's fair.
And the other thing you have to think about is these tier 20 armors, all this DPS issue we're talking about. Like if VLS, all that shit comes, it's just going even crazier. But this is my take on it. If they're gonna keep it like this and we're never gonna see old Wildy, fuck it. Let people be Megatron. Like I don't care, just because if I'm doomed to fight people in ZCBs all day, well, fuck it, man. At least let me use some cool gear. You know what I mean? But I would prefer it not be like that and for it to be old Wildy. Because in old Wildy, this is another thing you gotta realize. Bofa, Crystal, all this crazy stuff it gets held in check in the old Wildy, because like if you're at altar in full Crystal, you're risking full Crystal and you're kind of squishy, right? Like you wouldn't naturally be doing that. It's not natural for someone to be fighting out in the open Wildy in a 200 mil set in the old Wildy, because you got to be risky of the threat of team. So that naturally creates more Mystic v Mystic scenarios, which is more beginner friendly, just because of the threat of teams.
I want to just briefly say, guys, down in the description, be sure to follow both of their guys' YouTube. A cold one, your new little series you're doing some Wildy Slayer on. And be sure to follow Eli as well, and their Twitches down below. I'm just stating that. I'll state it at the end as well. But I want to talk about the whole like wilderness boss rework that's coming out very soon. So what do you think is the drop table of these things? Like the normal drop table? Do you think it's going to just absolutely be just incredible, or what?
Or Catholic Loyalty one.
Yeah, I think it should be. I think it should be.
I'm kind of holding on hope that it is, so I can just go out there and just have a lot of fucking fun for at least a couple weeks.
If nothing else, Karasi and all the upgrades to the rev weapons are all insane. You know what I mean? So like that's all good stuff. But I hope, it should be. The only thing is, I feel like some stuff like that should be in single as well. Like all those problems we just addressed with single to multi, it's not gonna like affect. It's not gonna hurt Iron Man. It's gonna be raw. I'm calling it right now.
Okay.
Until they nerf the ZCB, like, do you know what the meta used to be macing and BGSing, like spearing and BGSing for +1s. Now it's 20 to 40 people with a Zerite crossbow and Sapphire Bolt ease. It's
Yeah,
way
I
more
know.
OP.
I know the bug with that.
Way more OP than anything that has ever existed. Because at least with a BGS, the whole team had to be falled in. Like they had to be they had to be one tile adjacent to the opponent, right?
Yep.
It all had to be stacked on one spear spec. It took a lot of coordination. ZCBs take far less coordination. The team can rush in from any angle because they're shooting from a 10 tile distance.
And it takes time for that projectile to land. But the drain happens on the fire, not on the landing.
It's just like the same principle as a cool one explained earlier. Like you can't log until the barrage is like the timer for log out is when it's cast. Bolt proc effects apply the tick it leaves your crossbow, and it might take between 1 to 3 ticks to hit the opponent. So it gives the team a 3 tick window, like 3, 2, 1, now. Like in the past, it had to be all one BGS rush, and if you fucked it up, you maybe didn't get the smite. Now Rot can be all around you, all over the room, and they can just all call a name out, and they have a client that has your name in red above your head, and they all right click you and wait for the call, and you lose your +1. It's way stronger. I think it's 7 prayer points per proc that procs. Am I right on that?
I gotta reread what it does.
I'm pretty sure
Sapphire is the one that drains prayer, and there's. Okay. It's just it's not bugged. It's just unintentional.
It's just really strong. Zerite crossbow spec, for those listening who don't know, Zerite crossbow spec, if it rolls a hit, guarantees a bolt proc. So if their hit rolls, they will guaranteed proc the Sapphire Bolt effect. And I'm pretty positive, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty positive it instant drains 7 prayer points for proccing. And plus the extra added smite damage from the roll, like the hit that they roll. So like, it just smites you. Like there's no other way to put it. The best way to tank it is to staff spec, pray range, and just chug restore. Like I've tanked them before and not lost my +1, but it's just
you have
RNG.
to be prepared. For
okay,
it.
so
Very
it's 120. It's 5 prayer points it takes away. Pretty much.
5 prayer points. So they have like 40 to 50 people doing it, plus the smite damage, right? Plus whatever you would roll with your hit. So if you rolled a 10 with smite up, you do an extra, 1 or 2
just
or whatever.
lose.
Yeah, you just lose. You just lose your +1. That is going to be a fest. If you're scald with anything worth more than an AGS, you're going to get logged in on and ZCB'd out 110%. I think that's going to be literally all over the subreddit for the first couple weeks. You're going to see that a ton. Also, what we described earlier is like the way single to multi works is like 90% of the time you'll just run out of multi, or like say you're on a big kill, they run out of multi. The way that principle works is sometimes it just, for whatever reason, it doesn't choose your account to be able to keep hitting people, and people can just log. Like if you once you cross the plane from multi to singles, it's just kind of like it seems random, like who is able to attack the person. It's like so buggy. But the ZCB is a big problem, and that's gonna be like it's gonna be an issue.
So, what is there anything that could be changed with it, or is it just one of those items that's in the game and there's really nothing we can do? It's just broken.
You have to change the mechanic on how the Sapphire Bolt works.
Is that the biggest problem? Is the Sapphire Bolts with it in conjunction?
Nerf Sapphire,
it would have to be applied
Sapphire
the same way as Smite. Because Smite works on the way where the effective prayer drain happens on the hit splat, not on the fire of the projectile. But Sapphire Bolt applies on the fire of the projectile.
That would be a good way to fix it. Because this is the thing. It, like, Rot, as strong as they are, and like as OP as that is, you gotta still remember, that's still 40 people willing to bring a 240 mil +1 into multi, right? You do deserve to be able to smite people's +1s in multi with coordination. I think you do deserve to be able to do it.
100%. Yeah.
I just think it's a bit too lenient in the terms of the clan. Like it's way too easy for them. It's the easiest smites ever. Like it's the easiest macing BGSing that has ever existed. And it's like if Jagex are going to take action against those specific spec weapons, they'd be like, it's just clueless to not at least nerf this one too. Like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and this wouldn't really stop Rot or anything. Like if they still want to smite you for your +1, they know how to mace properly. They know how to coordinate that.
Good.
They know what they're doing.
They're very experienced at it.
Yeah, like too experienced. Like Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I would love to just, I'm not really in the wilderness, but I remember being there for revs for like 3 months straight, and I would have loved to just see like a fucking scrimmage of just like how they practice this shit, because they're so coordinated with so many things. I remember they would just log in and like, even when they were taking over a world, like if they just wanted to jump in and take over a 2K world, it was like within 2 seconds, 40 of them are there. Just in 2 seconds.
Listen,
like,
before they log in, they know who has claws. They know who. You know what I mean? Like me and Oda and Oda, Bellis, and Pure Spam did like a fucking troll stream collab, like PK trip creator collab. We went to multi and max sets, and like. A dog shit multi team would just be like, pile Oda, kill him, I'll switch Eliop. Like, Rot hit us. We're at Anakar, right? So can't tell you. They put one guy on me and just tangle me and staff bash me while they kill Oda. while they kill Ian. And while I'm trying to get away, he's just landing tables. Then the whole team runs over on me and they coordinate like a spec. Like they like no, they don't just like they're smart. Like they will abuse whatever. Like they have the experience from the years and like the ability to do it, that they will do whatever like will get the kill. And like they'll like to the point where they'll just literally leave 2 people to make sure you stay frozen while the rest of the team goes and gets specs, and then they return because you're still helpless, deep wildy and multi, and like spec you out. I hope that the singles bosses because they did say that they were going to add the same bosses in singles that were slightly less rewarding, right? I'm pretty sure they did say that.
Yeah, significantly like less GP per hour, but it isn't single.
I almost don't. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with. Like, I feel like almost maybe the singles one should be better, but I guess maybe not. Multi is going to be.
There
Do you
needs
think
to be
it'll be like next style?
multi.
Do you think it'll be next style where everyone gets a drop or no?
I hope
Like, you know what I mean?
not.
Like,
I think
hate that
it
new
is.
mechanic.
I think they're doing that, and I kind of agree with you where it's a very Fortnite mechanic, but at the same time, like.
But then everyone's making money, which
and they're really trying to appeal to a wider player base because sometimes we get locked in because we just play this game so goddamn much that there are people that just play for 3 hours a week.
There aren't us who are like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
they just want to
sweaty,
enjoy
like,
a little bit of wilderness.
Yeah,
for
not even
fucking...
that we're like the top tier of this game, but just like
know.
people who genuinely play every day and like have days and days. Like not everybody's like that.
Yeah,
I got a good example for the game that I heard from. I think it was Whale. I was watching. Yeah, it was Whale that said this the other night.
Okay.
Where, like, you do see these people that are looking like absolute champions, like Dragon Chain Body, Dragon Plate Legs, D Med, Whip, Tiz Coxil, like Obby Shield and stuff like that.
Obby Cape.
Like we used to play like that back in the day. Mm-hmm. But like something what he said is you can tell how good the game is doing based on how many champions there are at pest control.
It's true.
So. Like when if you've ever gone down to pest control on a fresh account and like, you know, you had to like, you know, get void on it, which I've got to do that in like a month's time, and I'm not looking forward to it, but I am because I get to see all the champions there.
Yeah.
Tons of people having fun. I'm just like, I'm happy for him. I love it.
I know. Yeah. That's like the good old days. It's like it's cool that we still have that, honestly. Like we got to appreciate that because we were all there at some point where we're trying to grind out a void and we're just fucking idiotic. Or I'm not trying to insult them, but you are newbie with the game, you know what I mean? Like you have no idea what's going on, but you're just having a good old grand time. We were all there.
You see some stuff like some dude water waving like NPCs from the top of like the scaffolding at the walls for pest control, like stuff like that. And I'm just like, dude,
the best
this
thing
guy's
ever.
having the time of his life, and I'm all about it, and I love it.
So
I love stuff like that.
I also just want to say, I did not mean to insult anyone. I just was there for so long, and I just remember because when I first started this game, I remember like my first goal was to kill wyverns because wyverns had just gotten the new drop table, and I literally did not know what an Ava's accumulator was. I didn't, so I went and I started rune crossbowing these things with a god cape on, and I was just getting laughed at by everyone. I'm like, dude, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like what, like.
Dude, it's funny you say that. When I first played old school, I wanted to be a max range tank. I literally did 84 to 99 range there. I have like 15k wyvern KC on this account.
Same. I have literally 15k on my old.
I loved it in college, bro. I would attack a wyvern. Like, I'm gonna go shower real quick. Like, dude, every waking hour. Dude, I was killing wyverns. I swear to God,
bro. That was some of the best fucking times playing this game.
It was so free and like
you know when you have like a dude that's trying to crash you, and so you just whip out your air staff and just fucking like manually cast it real quick, and then like see ya, bitch.
Yes,
better hop.
Wyvern Queen CC, they'd come buy your 2 halves and shit, bro. We all did this. It was
they were getting ripped off. Like the amount of runners that I'm like, dude, you're literally like overcharging by like 2k. You're making like maybe 80k an hour.
Oh
like,
yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Like,
I was like,
what were they
I'm
doing?
down.
But they just loved it. They were just like noobs who'd be like, oh, I'll buy your 2000 and stuff. Like I would just hook them up, or like I'll sell you range pots because like we're all alking.
Such good times.
Dude, it was such dopamine. I would just like, how long can I stay? You know, like
I know, and your inventory
I
is
30
just
mil
building.
inventory, or like I loved that shit. I would have my friend Chandler. Okay, when I first started playing old school, these were my goals. Max range. First was 99 range. Once I got that, I'm like, all right, max range tank, full armadillo. And like once I had that, I ended up staking all of it because I lost. And I didn't know what to do. It was about 150 mil at the time. I traded it to my friend Dan Peterson, who was max, and he staked it and lost it, and then I quit for a while. But I would just kill wyverns, bro. And I remember when I had the armor helm and legs, or armor helm and chest. I would have my friend Chandler run me run me Carol skirts when they would wear out. I'm
Oh,
like, yo, bro, I need a new Carol skirt. He'd run me a fresh one and trade him
That's
the other
homie.
one. Like pay him 100K. Like, thanks, man. Like,
dude,
was
I was
so
one of
fun.
those fucking Giga Chads though, because I got to the point after about 5K Wyverns where I actually had a pretty decent bank, and I remember I upgraded to a fucking Odium ward, and like everyone was like,
Damn.
dude, like that's risky, like you're gonna get
yeah,
the
because
icy
they'll
breath.
fuck you up.
And I was like, dude, I
Yeah.
don't fucking care. Like I know the
They're not
safe
gonna
spots.
touch
Like
me. I know what to do.
I'm like immortal here. And then I started using Addy Diamond Bolt E's, and people are like, holy
Yeah,
shit, this dude is
damn.
balling. Like everyone's
Did
using.
you ever see the
broad bolts.
people use like fire spells? Like people would be there in like ARMs with like a tome,
yeah.
fire waving them and shit.
Mhm.
Like that was like rich people, but it was like
Yep.
good AFK and decent mage XP too.
Oh, that's like right when Wintertide came out before the economy got like turbo mega fucked.
Yeah,
I mean, it was from like Zora, because Zora came out before that, and Zora would like ruin so many things.
That's true.
But I'm talking like, I'm trying to remember the point of like where it was just like the point of no return for old school's economy. I think it was like Vorkath like started the real decline of it.
Zora was bad.
Like definitely did a great job.
Yeah, once it was better to kill a boss for resources than the actual skillers harvesting it, it
Sucks.
threw off the power dynamic. Like the skill stopped being
So
like
much.
a harvesting for money and shit, like chopping mage logs, to like a
There's
time
a
grind,
reason why
efficiency
people
grind.
hate skilling, because it's literally just not rewarding. Everything else is more rewarding than just sitting
Yeah.
there and chopping a tree.
Like I'm sitting here barb fishing right now. I hate my life. Like I
yeah,
hate
dude,
this.
you are getting
Like,
nothing for it except for XP. Like that's
except
so
for XP.
boring.
Like I'm doing it purely because I want a cool cape when I PK. Like I want the max cape, and that is why I'm doing this. Like
Mhm.
I'm 2090 total. I probably will not be maxed for maybe never, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna keep. You know what I mean? Like I rarely skill, but like some nights when I'm editing, I just sit and do this, and like I'll pick one skill at a time.
Yep.
And just like do it until I'm 99, and like it's just like
Sometimes
thought
kind of
about-
soothing though, you know, if you can just like
It
chill
is, yeah,
out and just
for sure. It's satisfying to look back. Like I'm
Yeah.
91 fishing now, but like I started at like 85 like months and months ago, watching movies with my friends and disc and shit. Like
Mhm.
slowly chipping away, but yeah.
Dude, okay, I want to just bring this up real quick. Like, when they introduced Fresh Start Worlds, I was a little bit disappointed, mainly because it was just the exact same game we have.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
also it ends, which that's my personal opinion.
It comes back though. It comes back.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's fair. I just
merges into
personally
the
am
main
not
game.
into any sort of temporary mode. I think it
Wait,
just
no, you know it
defeats-
merges into the main game, right? Like
Yeah, it merges, but like, you know, just the
I get what you're
whole
saying. I get what you're
that
saying.
whole
starting
thing
a fresh
is done.
account. The
Yeah.
whole, yeah.
The
So-
economy's gone.
What would you got? I just want to hear your guys' opinions, because I know this has already been talked about and everybody already has their like ingrained opinions. But what would you think if they did come out with a couple servers that were truly fresh start of like we still have all the quality of life, we still have RuneLite, but we have the content from 20 like end of 2014ish. I'm thinking like post God Wars at least, before Zora though, and just like this sort of more pure mode. And the reason I kind of want it is because of just the good times of just not, I don't know, maybe it is just a little bit of like too much nostalgia overload that I'm like
feel what you're
overthinking.
I'll
It
tell
is
you,
nostalgia. It would die. We're just
it
not wired
probably
like that.
will.
anymore, you know
it'll
what I mean?
die instantly, because that was the
we're not-
era where Iron Man was actually fun up until the end game. Like nowadays,
damn it.
Iron Man like stops being fun at the end game, because end game back then, like when Iron Man came out, I remember this because I remember voting on that poll. Was your end game was God Wars basically?
Yeah.
I remember seeing a clip of Curtis getting his fucking Sour Hilt like back then, and that was huge.
Mm-hmm.
End game is like, okay, go do Chambers of Zarek for 800 hours and hope you're on rate for a Tebow or some shit.
Yeah.
And then go to ToB for like
right.
hundreds of hours, then go to Pyramids of Gargalon for hundreds of hours, and hope you don't go dry there.
Dude. God
Yeah.
Wars is like, if you're efficient at God Wars, it takes 50 hours and you're done. I mean, besides pet, obviously, but like that's how pets always should have been. They should have been the rarest shit, not
But
items.
like that's when Iron Man was fun, when the end game wasn't hundreds of hours and like a misery sink, you know?
You're totally right, man. Damn it. So
But I will agree, there is like a huge nostalgia bite for it. But the thing
Yeah.
is, like in this day and age, with how much we know nowadays,
We know too much, man. We're too
Yeah.
efficient. We wouldn't. It would. The fun of the game for us now is progression. Okay, to me
It's
though,
true,
like
you're
that's for the average
right.
player's progression. For me though, it's the reason why this game is still fun to me this day is the social aspect. Like what we're doing right
Very
now
much.
is because of it. You know what I mean? Like, and I just feel like we're all constantly moving away from it. Like maybe not totally. Like because if it weren't for Iron Man, the game honestly likely would have died out a long time ago. Like, Iron Man brought a big resurgence of players to the game and stuff, but it's just like I don't know, with no team PKing, we're like, dude, my community used to have, my Discord used to have 20 to 30 people every single night. Like, we weren't all on one trip, but like, if somebody in the call was like, yo, I'm full TB'd, I got like 20 frontline guys that, like, we would pull up, and that became a clan fight for the next 2 hours. Or like, yo, this guy's an ancestral at Mage Man, get ready to come hit him. And like, just stuff would happen, and there was a social element, and I have watched literally, like, we'd have 30 people a night, but like my Discord community is like hundreds. I think there's 700 people in the server. I've watched like hundreds of my friends like not log in anymore. They log in once and like go hop at North Cave, and they're like, holy shit, I hate fighting Ancient God Sword over and over. This is so boring. Like,
Dude, you know Evo, right?
yeah, good friends.
Yeah, I've been chatting with him like every now and then. Like, he popped by recently. He told me like he's got a kid on the way and everything.
Dude, he got fucking Thermi pet today.
Yeah, he started playing again. He's like, dude, I fucked up. I started playing, and I think I'm getting addicted now. I was like, it might be a good time because we might have Bounty Hunter 8 on the way. So maybe it's a good time to come
back. The thing is, I'm saying all this doom and gloom shit. I'm very optimistic, right? I'm the most optimistic since I became a content creator of the actual future of Wildy and shit. With these new multi-bosses, BH coming back, curses, craters. Jagex are finally at least acknowledging and like doing good things, and like the fact that they're even allowing Mod Soften to go off on this, like to go so hard on this shit, means they at least have it's in their frame. You know what I mean? Like, it might not come this year, it might not be next year, but it's in their portrait of how they see the game ending. You know what I mean? Like, they're putting effort into making the Wildy better and giving PvP like what it deserves. I think they actually are in, like, we just got Mod Manked, Sween just came back.
Yeah,
like,
that's
I think
cool.
It's looking optimistic
for us.
Looking optimistic.
I want to just kind of stay on that doom and gloom just for a tiny bit longer, and simply going back to a Cold One's point of, like, literally every fucking piece of content that's like a boss that comes out is like 500 to 1,000 hours to complete. It feels like that, and that might not be every single content, but like,
only from Iron Man standpoint, really. But
I know it's Iron Man standpoint, but there really was a time where literally almost every boss was seriously completable within a 50-hour range, maybe 100 like tops. And then you would have a pet. So if you really wanted to go hard, you could go for the pet, and then that would be the, 300, 400 hours. And it's like the cosmetics with it. Do you have like any opinion on that, like a Cold One? Like, can we drift back to that? Because I really wonder if that is the cause of a lot of burnout, because that really does make a lot of sense why you're just coming out with these just insane rates. Like, I think of Nex, and I think of Nightmare, and I think of...
Do not bring up fuck that disgusting abomination of a boss that caused so many problems.
I'm just like, dude, you could have literally made this, and I know, because every single goddamn main, almost every player just has this idea that items need to be a certain price, and if they're not, you need to fucking, like, just make the drop rates more insane. But, like, god damn it, can we just not have items take 300 hours individually to get? Like, Jesus.
I kind of like the idea of what Pyramids of Gargalon TOA Raids 3 tried to do, where it's more effective to do it in a group of 8 people, because you'll see the most purples over time. And I like that idea, compared to, like, if you do it solo, it's like you're doing 300ification. It's like, I think it's like 1 in 30 or something to see a purple solo, but if you do it in a group of 8 people, it's like 1 in 8 or 1 in 6. I don't know the exact rates, but it's just like you go through them so fast. Like, the raids are faster as 8 people than they are as a single person, and you're seeing them like that. So it's more incentivized for the main accounts to be doing it like that. And if Ironmans really want to get stuff in their name because they're that, like, paranoid, they can go do it solo. Maybe take longer, but it's more guaranteed.
Yeah,
the problem with Nightmare is that the drops don't scale.
They scaled it in the most stupid way. Like, I literally was complaining about that for years. And so literally, I would talk to JMods. I'm not going to call anybody out, but, like, it was, like, impossible to explain it to them. I'm like, dude, like, the scales, like, you have 80 people in that, and you're only
scales up to 5, and that's it.
I know.
Anything past 5 is just bad.
Oh my god. Nightmare, honestly, could have been so much fun. That's why I'm really excited for the wilderness bosses to come out, because they finally understood that, because TOA was a good sign. Like, okay, you finally can understand that purples can come easier when you have 8 people in there. And that's what I'm looking forward to. If originally when Nightmare had come out, they actually made it so if you're in an 80 man, it actually scales up to that point, like 16x above the...
That's what I want to get to.
I know.
It's
that would have been cool.
So let's say your 5-man scale. The odds of a Nightmare at, like, 5-man scale, which is the same as 1-man scale, is what, 1 in 100 to see an item or something?
It's something ridiculous.
Yes. So divide that by 16, and that becomes the rate of seeing an item in an 80-man scale. Like a mass now becomes incentivized because you're going to be seeing items like every couple of minutes, like every couple of kills, something goes in. Maybe it goes to Billy Bob or like some guy with 90 combat and a Sarachnis cudgel because they're really really lucky. But you're seeing them come in like that. Like when you go to a Nightmare Mass World now with like 30 people, no one's seeing a drop for like 10 hours.
I know. It is,
and that's the same thing as like
stupid.
somebody who does Fozani or something like that.
Yep.
There's just no reason to group up and do big like scale things.
I know.
Where like let's say you do that at God Wars, and I might kind of like steal a little bit from like old Deadman seasons, like back when they had like increased drop rates or double drop weekends for like God Wars, and you see like teams hopping around between like the Armadillo room, just like knocking Kriara down in 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Because she like her HP doesn't scale based on team size. So she dies in 2 seconds, you hop to another world and like rinse and repeat. And it's a 128. Nightmare just infinitely scales up based on how many players are in the room. So you'd think if it goes like that, maybe the drop rate will go along with it.
Yeah, that was a real
It kinda
big
got them
mistake
down.
by them. And they still haven't fixed it, which is really embarrassing, honestly. Like, obviously they added Fasanis and they just ignored like the abomination that normal Nightmare is, but like, holy fuck.
Maybe let me finish selling my Eldritch Orbs and then they can fix it.
Wait,
Maybe
what? Are you merching Eldritch Orbs?
I've been merching Eldritch Orbs.
Are
Dude,
they
if you've
up,
seen what happened to them in the past like 6 months, and you'll understand.
Okay, let me look. Are you trying to not talk about it and keep your insider information closed? or-
No. It's the damage is already done. The money's already been made. It doesn't matter.
Oh, you've made money on them.
Yes.
Why'd they go up? What happened? They haven't gone up.
Divine Rune Pouch. You can throw water runes in them along with Blood Barrage runes. So now you can
for
take an Eldritch Staff
don't need
into the
ToB.
Inferno.
Yeah.
Oh,
Damn.
shit. That's
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
Did you predict that and buy?
I didn't
That's-
predict exactly that, but I picked up a couple of cabbages because I was like, it is like stupidly cheap for
Are you
what it
calling them
does and what it
cabbages?
brings to the
Just like
table.
green orbs.
Yeah, I call it cabbage. I call the harmonized the blue cabbage.
Damn,
I call
bro, they
the
went
Biotower
up
the micro.
hella. What the fuck? They're like as
Yeah.
much as a volley now.
I know.
That's
No,
crazy.
way more than a volley now.
They're way more than a volley. That's insane. Thank God I have Inferno done,
I
bro.
did
I don't
not
even
even
own.
know
I don't
that.
own one of those.
That's the
anymore.
that's the one thing I'm missing from Nightmares and Eldritch. That's crazy.
Yeah, like what it does, especially in combination with the new ring,
it's nice.
insane for what it offers.
Bro, I low key want to go do Inferno. Like, I did it with, like, before TOA, but like, I actually really enjoyed Inferno. Part of me really wants to try and doing speed running and like see if I could do it fast because I actually really thought that shit was fun.
Dude, I still remember last November, like when you were like before you got your cape and you were doing runs and everything, and
Yeah.
Tastegiving had just happened, and we're all just mobbed in Tasty's house, like 10 of us, just like macking on his bed on his floor, and we're watching your stream.
You guys are
and
watching
Zug-
me?
And yeah, we were watching you, and I remember there was like one healer up, and you were up on the wall, and it was like in the middle, and you said 5-head and you T-bowed it. Like, we all
Dude,
lost
it
our
was
shit.
so
It was like kind
fun.
of big brain though. It was kind of
Yeah.
big brain.
Dude, it was so fun. I had so much fun learning Inferno, bro. It was like a 3-week period over. It was like 23 attempts over 3 weeks last Christmas. It's been about 1 year exactly.
That's cool.
Dude, those were so fun.
Inferno-
when I finally
yeah.
got it, I was jumping around and I in the dark accidentally punted my bong across the room and it hit
I
the
remember
wall.
that you broke it.
Shattered into a million pieces, bro. I broke my bong. It was so fucked up. I was so I was so excited. And then literally like 5 months later, I died for it, bro. I died. I wasn't parched. I was having like the worst stream of my life. I died for Max like twice. I got bolted out from my Inferno cape at Mage Bank. Dude, this story is so random. I died to rank 1 Apex.
What the
Rank
fuck?
1 World Apex player, Chaotic Much. He like the rankings have shifted, but at one point, and at a few different points, he was rank 1 competitive Apex. He's like a crazy Apex player, pulls thousands of viewers, who also just happens to be a low-key RuneScape PK demon. And he just comes in my chat and like violates me. And like we would have good fights. And the thing is, I like barraged him like a 16 on 30, and then like a 10 on like 28 or something, and he bolted me and killed me for my Inferno cape, and I had to like go back and get it again, bro. Oh,
Damn.
That was
my
big
God.
pain.
Dude,
I got
going
it
for
back.
your
Second try, I got it back.
going for your first Infernal cape is such a great
Dude.
experience. Like,
Yeah,
even
it's
though
a
it's
special
tilting as
thing.
hell sometimes,
Yeah,
it's such
That
a good
feeling.
experience. It teaches you
that
so
feeling
much
when you get
too.
it.
Mhm.
It
really
really
does.
is like a big stepping stone to like getting better at the game. And I
Yeah.
still remember like mine like my 2 month learning period from like July to September, like the months after it came out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And this is like I'm doing this like with Carol's and a dragon
like,
hunter crossbow because
Lines
that's all
as
my
well.
Iron Man
Like,
had.
there's no stat that you did it on release, yeah. Like you didn't
Yeah.
fucking people didn't know shit.
On
Yeah.
his Iron Man too, because he had played an
Mhm.
Iron Man like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Early fucking days.
Was it on your hardcore still at this point?
No, it's a
Hardcore wasn't
normal.
out yet, I think.
Oh.
No, it was
okay.
out, but
Was it? I
You
don't
didn't
know.
have
yeah,
hardcore.
20 end of
I
2016.
wasn't playing hardcore then. Like at the time, I had my main account, which was scuffed and not secure, so I wasn't playing it. I had my iron, I had a baby pure, and I had a med level at this time. But like my iron was the one that like had a good amount of money and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I didn't have enough money like on my main accounts to like afford a TiVo, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just do it on the iron. It's the same anyway. But like just going for the first one, like it's a huge thing. Like just for progression wise, for just getting better at the game, and just it's exciting. Like going for that first Inferno cape. I see clips of people getting their Inferno cape for the first time, and just seeing that in excitement. Sometimes maybe they tear up, they get emotional about it. Like it's there. Like
Dude,
Yep.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
so tense.
It's a big
'Cause
moment.
it takes like when you're just learning, it takes almost 2 hours of like perfection. Like of just like not fucking up, not missing a flick, and like
Mhm.
I don't even know, dude. To this day, I I understand the principle of one tick flicking, right? Like keeping your overheads up without consuming prayer, but I can't do it in practice. Like I would just my Inferno runs were like PKing mixed with like a very rudimentary understanding of how I would get rushed by like melees and I'd be like freeze DD and I would barrage the meleeer and like stand under it. Like
love
dude, I
that.
did that so much in my caves.
shit
Like
you
it
not.
worked. Like I would do that hell. I would freeze DD the melee and like DD on stuff on the ranger to like
I
figure
shit
it
you
out.
not. It's like watching a fucking skill specs Inferno cape run. I swear to God, you're all the
Oh,
same.
God.
It was so fun,
That's
man. I
cool
had
though
so
that you
much
kind of
fun.
apply what you just naturally
Yeah,
do.
it's just my
to
natural
it.
game
That's
instinct,
cool.
right? Is to freeze the threat and stand on top of it. And like I would use that like genuinely. And
Yeah.
like obviously in a speed run that's not gonna be meta and they're like you
Yeah,
should
yeah.
just stand in the middle and flick it. But like
But
dude,
just
I didn't
getting
know
it
how
done
to at the
that way
time.
is
Yeah, I just
cool.
wanted to get it done. Shout out to Lola, honestly. I feel like he's like controversial in the PvM community. A lot of people don't like him, but in terms of being a teacher, bro, dude, that guy is so patient and like on my first ever Inferno run, okay, Lola was coaching me, but like I didn't know anything. I was blind. And one day on stream, someone was just like, "Yo, would you do Inferno if you let Lola like coach you and just see how well you do?" I'm like, "Yeah, fuck it." I got the 63 on my first try ever. Like just with him
Damn.
like telling me, "Stand here, freeze this, barrage that." Like that was just it. But like we did it. He's like very patient and like that one run was like the foundation that just kind of taught me, what mobs did what, where to stand, how to lure them in with like the magic tiles and shit.
Yeah.
So fun.
Will there ever be another Inferno? Like something that truly is just like the pinnacle of I don't know, just end game. It's just
Yeah,
like
I don't
you
know.
build most people build up their account with the ultimate desire, and again, this is like the people that really take the game a little bit more seriously, is like getting their Infernal Cape. It's such a
Yeah.
crazy accomplishment. It's such a good feeling.
We kind of have that now with, I guess, like more of a short term one would be the Fang kit from TOA, like getting the 500
yeah,
completion. That kind
for
of is
sure.
Inferno.
That's true.
Then you
Which
also
is
have like
hard,
Zuck Helm if you want to take it even further.
That's true. Zuckhelm's pretty much that. You are right, but there was
True,
just
Zuckhelm's
something so
crazy.
special about the Infernal Cape. That's just, and maybe it was just because it was like the first one that was.
And it's so good. Like it's what I mean. Zuckhelm is
know.
these are all cosmetics we're talking about. Like it's the BIS like for everything for
That is
PKers.
true. I think that
I mean,
really
obviously, a lot of PKers buy their capes and shit, but like the ones who got like the feeling of getting your Inferno cape, like it just feels sick. It's like damn, like my AGS hits 2 to 3 higher now. Like it just feels sick. Like it's so fun.
I know.
Like I always bring that shit with me now. Like I love it.
Dude,
It's
you
just
got to
so
get your
cool.
Max Cape now because that
Dude,
Infernal
I want it
Max
so
is
bad.
fucking
Sae Bae,
sexy.
you have
No, it is
idea,
not.
man.
Infernal Max is gross.
Infernal
I'm
Max
sorry.
is
It is
sexy,
inferior to the
dude.
regular
Listen,
Inferno.
I will show you guys my fucking dream gear right now. This is like what I wear at Mage Bank, and I don't know if you can put this in an overlay in the
Yeah,
vid
I
or
can
something
put
somehow,
that.
but like this is what I look like now. This is what I would like PK just even back in Old Willy with this transmog plugin, bro. It looks so good, dude. Wait. This one. Dude,
Oh, I see
Guthix
what you
Max
merching.
Cape with kits plus like my character's hair, like it just looks so clean, dude. I
Clean.
want this so bad. So bad, you have no idea.
Oh wait, is it on your stream? Oh, I just.
I'm
oh,
screen
okay.
sharing
I
it to
see
you right
I
now,
see
sorry.
Let me
But
put
like the Guthix Max Cape plus twisted kits plus like just because I always wear Wizzy boots too. It's just
Yeah.
like it just looks so good, bro. Like I want it so fucking bad. But I
Yeah.
never use this plugin because it makes me feel like I'm using Stolen Valor. I'm like, I don't want to.
I know. That's how
I
I
don't
feel
wanna-
about it. Like it
you know
was,
what I mean?
it was like destroying my motivation to go for it. 'Cause I'm like, I
Yeah,
can just turn this
exactly.
on. Yeah,
I
it's
can just
awful.
look at it and get the cheap dopamine now. But it's like, nah, like
No.
if I
It ain't
I have to
real.
actually get it and like feel the
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I had to turn those transmog things off. I'm like, dude, I'm just wearing full third age. I just can't fucking do it. It's like there's no point
Yeah.
in playing this game now.
Yeah, literally.
The thing is, like, we all know it ain't real, so therefore it ain't real.
It's
You know what I'm
true,
saying?
but it still like causes something in your mind. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
Hang
want
on,
it
I'm just
so
noticing
bad.
something now, Eli. Your construction is not even 83. Boy, what are we doing?
I know, dude. Listen, man. I have the spec pool. I drink restores and I eat.
Yeah, you
anglerfish.
got like at least like the brown and red and all that.
Dude, how much do you
ain't
think
got
I've
the purple
spent?
rank.
Listen. I'm like 80 kills off 15,000 wilderness PKs. I have almost 15k wilderness PKs, and I have been restoring my stats by eating anglers and drinking restores. Like how
I
many
respect that.
how many mills? Like hundred? Do you think hundreds of mills or tens of mills? Like
I
eaten
think you're only
so-
in 8 digits. It's that.
yeah, okay. Like tens of mils, like 50 mil maybe, just in eating anglers and drinking restores and brews and like pots. Like I just never had the spec or the house pool.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
And tellies too. God damn, I just need to fucking train con, bro.
So I want to bring up something that's a complete change of topic, and that is I don't even remember when this happened, but a cold one. You were the first ever the first hardcore Ironman to ever solo the Theater of Blood. Something that was thought to be absolutely ludicrous and fucking stupid when ToB first was released. Like the thought of even a hardcore Ironman stepping in there on release was just suicide in game. And now like you've done it, and I'm not even sure exactly when after the first podcast you accomplished that, but how was that all? Explain it.
Well, the whole experience from start to finish.
Everything,
All right,
like just what you ate that no, just you know.
yeah. Actually,
Okay,
I'm curious
I
'cause that is
actually-
some crazy shit.
Hang on, I remember exactly what I ate that night because, like, my roommate at the time, Nick. Shout out Nick if you ever listens to this. He probably won't though because you don't play
He
Rune.
doesn't listen to the Sae Bae cast, bastard.
He don't fucking play at all, man. Like I would play A-Rams and shit with him. Like me and him would put some dry rub ribs in the barbecue. Like have some gang shit moments with our homies. But like he knew exactly what I was doing. Like he knew like what I do. Like
I
he knew
remember him
everything about
popping in.
streaming.
If
He
I'm thinking
knows.
of the right guy, he's the guy that. Wait, was he the guy that came in and or wait, there's like multiple things you've done.
There's a couple people. Oh wait, you're talking about the one that came in and helped me shave my head, right?
No. I'm thinking of the guy that came in and you're like, it's done, and he came in and was just.
Oh yeah, the guy
gave
with the
him a hug. Was
dreadlocks.
that
Yeah,
the guy?
that's Nick.
Yeah, that was
That's
him.
Nick.
Okay. I got
So-
a clear picture of him.
Yeah, I remember we got Popeyes that night because we were like, "Hey, yo, like, you know what? How about some spicy chickens? Like, let's get some sandwiches before this all starts." Because he wasn't using his internet. His girl Diana was out at work the whole night, and like she even like pulled up the stream at work when there was like 10,000 people at Versic, and she showed her coworkers like, "Yeah, this is my roommate
Holy
right now."
shit!
And she told me later, I'm like, "Why are you showing people and be playing video games?" Like, all right, but like he wasn't on his net. He was playing like. It was like some Assassin's Creed game he was playing. Like he just wasn't on the net at all. He was looking after Leo the whole time. But like going into that, I really didn't have that much stage fright or like performance anxiety. I don't really get that. I get why some people have that when they go into things.
Just to preface it, how many solo TOBs had you done before this? Because I feel like people might
Hundreds.
not know. Yeah,
100.
literally.
At this point, like easily 300, maybe more. I'd sold
Jesus
multiple sites on my main
Christ.
account. Even back when they were like worth more and everything. And then the practice runs I did, it was like 25 of them. 4 were completions, 20 were teleports, and then I had 1 death due to a lag spike, and I altered the way I handled P2 because of that.
Ooh.
I was like, okay, this kind of thing could happen where like commands will overlay on the top of each other. So like I step back and then click on Versic at the same time, but because of like, a bad tick happening, I don't step back and I get punted by Versic and die instantly. So instead of like being 3 ticks on Versic, 1 tick off, like you're supposed to do, I do 1 tick on Versic and 3 ticks away and just do like learner V stepping. And that's what I adjusted to. And ever since I changed that, I didn't die at all. I had teleports out, but it didn't die. So there was like a lot of prep that went into it. And then when the time came, we had that little moment where I forgot to pull down the blocker to show me Happen Worlds, and the Solo Maiden, I guess, just didn't happen. And my brother was texting me this whole time, but my phone was on the opposite end of the room, so it wasn't going to be distracting me. He's like, dude, you didn't take down your fucking screen. Dude, we can't see anything, and I see all this stuff later.
Oh god.
So like that happened, but like I don't know, it just felt like another run to me. Like I'd done a couple of like Guthan's runs in the past, so it was just like natural. The only part that was stressful was when the first pillar went down on Nihilocust, like because then you've got a whole bunch of mobs on you, and like if you're mispositioned, even with a Phoenix necklace on, you can die if you're in like the very wrong position. So I've got to be like very careful, like what kind of waters I'm treading during that. But after that, everything was just guaranteed as long as I played correctly.
Fucking crazy, man.
And when it was all done, it was kind of cool.
Yeah, how was the feeling? Was that like one of the best feelings you've had in the game, or what?
The completion, not as much, because it just felt like just another KC. Like seeing the yellow chest, I'm like, yeah, this is a normal day. But like, it was like Pog for everybody else. It was like, oh wow, hardcore did that. But it was like, okay, I just have to focus on this one and not read chat, and like we're chilling. Like I think the coolest part was going to the GE and be like, okay, we're gonna fill up World 416.
Yeah,
and like within a minute, there was 2,000 people on the world. Like Mod Elena popped in. Like that was probably the coolest moment.
That's
like
so
when
cool.
we had J-Mod spawning in as like, you know, ToB mobs, an entire world filled up. You could only see one stack of people on top of me.
Were you live? Did you live stream it?
Yeah,
of course.
How many people were
viewers?
How many people? What did it go to?
We peaked at like 11,000 something, and I only know this because I took a picture of my analytics.
Yeah.
Like after it all happened, and I almost never checked them, but I'm like, I had to know for this stream. Like, you have to check them. So I finally pulled it up, and I took a picture of it, and I sent it to my family because they were watching. Like previously, my parents didn't really care about me streaming or anything like that. They had no idea. They were like, "Oh, you do what you do what you want.
Right.
Like if you're broke, like you know that sucks. Maybe just don't be broke next time." But like they were supported, like do whatever you want. And then I sent them that, and they understood exactly what was going on.
Wow.
So after I sent them that, my mom fucking printed it out, and it's now magnetized to the side of our refrigerator.
Yeah,
my mother's house.
That's so...
like if I go down there, like if I take the 15 minutes to drive to her house, I could just like take a picture of it. I'll post it in here later, I guess, or something. Like tomorrow if I stop by. She's literally just had it magnetized there for 2 years.
That's cool.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah. Like it was a pretty awesome night. Like everybody was like Discord DMing me afterwards, like, "Hey yo, like pop and call real quick. Let's take a shot." Like, "Hey yo, fucking congrats! Like, let us dap you up real quick," you know.
Dude, what's even more Giga Chad about this guy is that he not only is he like the PvM goat, he loves PKing and shit so much that now that account's de-iron, he lets me use it for like fucking like PKing activities. Like I use that account.
When I saw
I've used that account, dude. I use that account. Dude, no one knows that, by the way, cool. But I'll unveil it on this podcast.
Yeah,
Austin.
I think like a few people know it, but
he's like a big death streamer, and like
Man,
I used his
guy.
account to fucking like. That account has been used in so many PKing hits and like spot like just like it's so funny. Like this Austin would tele to his house in PvP worlds after doing a death match. Right? So streamers would do the death match and hold the pot, and then they would teleport. If they lost the pot, they'd spawn at wherever their spawn point is, pull the pot out of their bank, house tele, and then teleport to wherever the GE to pay it out. I had a Cold One's ex-hardcore Ironman, the first account to ever solo ToB, inside of his house with full Bandos and Claw Maul. He tellied in, I Claw Mauled him out, killed him. He spawns outside where my other account and Max was waiting to like Tangle TB him to try and kill him for, I think it was like 900 mil or like 2 bill or something.
It was a lot of money.
It was a lot of money. It was like a 900 mil or like a 2 bill pot. I can't remember if it was if it was like a bill or 2 bill. Like I know it was one of those two. Like
bill total.
It was like a bill. It was like close to a bill.
$2.
Yeah, it wasn't that. It was like close to a bill. It was like 450 mil each. And due to like the weird PJ timers and the way that freeze tangles work, I didn't quite get it. He went back inside and had freeze mute and got out. But like a Cold One was like, "Yo, like we like didn't even know each other that well. How did I met you like through Juder? I think. I don't even know a Cold One. How did we even like start fucking becoming like friends?"
All right, so I knew Juder and I knew
it was
Evo
the hardcore
because like
shit, right? Like through the hardcore.
There was
Iron
also
Man
like
videos.
it was like the hardcore Ironman videos and you PKing hardcore the Mage Rank. I'm like, yo, they're actually adding risk to this shit. And
Yeah,
actually
you were
making,
like you're
I was
increasing the high score.
from RuneScape on the hardcore. I'm like, hey, yo, am I gonna go out there and fucking? I remember like your boy Callum logged in.
Yeah.
Like to look for me when my hardcore was doing it, and then he saw like he saw Scowled out there, and it was like at a time when you were sleeping as well. Like it was like,
dude, we got on
in the
Lake.
morning.
We got on Lake's hardcore, but it was post Wildy update. Like one of our newbier PKers got him. But dude, Lake Lake Men, that was his hardcore. I think it's dead now, right? Or is it still
Yeah,
alive?
it died at TOA.
It died, but dude, he was at Mage Bank without a fucking anti-venom. And
Holy
I don't even think he had freezes either. And my buddy Two Hit him just got juked on the lever and he logged. But dude, if it was me on that, we've caught like actual really high level hardcores out at Mage Bank and shit.
Jesus.
No.
Yeah, I guess
I like
Cole
how,
was
like,
just like down for it. He's like, you can use this account if you want for any like fucking gang activity.
Yeah, I honestly
so
just
funny.
like how there is risk to certain activity. Like if people like you, for example, like Psych, like doesn't lock
Yeah.
down Mage Bank, then it just becomes a free upgrade for hardcores to get, and there's no
Right,
risk
yeah.
behind it, and there's no prestige behind it. Kind of like how Dragon Pickaxe is being moved to like Calfight Queen. I know a lot
Right.
of hardcores that don't like that change because it's now removed to prestige. Like Dragon
Yeah.
Pickaxe was seen
On
as
a
a very
hardcore,
prestigious item for
it's
hardcores.
sick,
Like,
yeah,
hey
it's-
man, like I got this.
Yep. I
You're
went
still
out there and
using your
missed it.
rune pickaxe. What you doing?
Yeah. We don't even log. The sad thing is, it's like, I hate to break the ball to any of the like guys watching this, but we do not fucking log because we can't really do anything anymore, man. Anyone who's intelligent or has half a brain on a hardcore would just bring ancient ice barrage sacks, and they literally land one freeze in our entire
And they are
encounter.
out.
If they're smart, yeah. If they're smart and they have anything more than 500 worth of heals on them, which is literally like an NV of mantas, like they just land one freeze and they have escaped. Like, and you can only use magic in the mage arena, so it's like. It's so safe now that in itself has kind of removed a lot of prestige from.
And not
from
even that.
hardcores.
There's
I made two and shit.
I might be leaking some things, but there is like so many safe ways to do Mage Arena 1 and
Oh,
Mage
yeah.
Arena 2.
I don't
like
care.
splashing all your
Yep.
casts, having the staff with the auto cast for like Wind Strike or some shit like that to
Yep.
X-Log on.
Yeah.
Then
there's so many
MA2,
safe
if you know
ways.
how like Callisto works or how Venenatus works, if you draw it to like the edge of its aggro range, it can't see anymore. The MA2 bosses work the same way. Just like bring a couple alts, drag it out with a couple of dead trees, have your alts box it in, get outside
Yep.
of its aggro range and just cast on it, and you're not in combat. You can just log out if you see people.
Wow. Giga brain shit.
But like these kind of things have been more well known over the past year. So like League of now doesn't really do much, and I think
Yeah, it doesn't
like
matter.
Iron Man's kind of waning as far
We
as
actually
popularity
used
goes.
we used to do a lot of hardcore protections. Like we actually did a lot. Like people would pay us. They'd pay us like 200 mil for like a squad of 5 to like 7 people to basically protect them for like a whole hour. So I mean, if you think about it, it's not like that crazy of a rate. If you think about it, you're paying it's like 200 divided by like 6 people over an hour. Like each one of us are making like 30 mil, but like we
Yeah.
would have it fucking mapped out, bro. Like while you're killing your boss, we got 2 people north, 1 person south, east, west, ready to call
Yeah, you
out.
have a
what
whole
direction to
entire
go. Like,
perimeter around the
yeah,
guy.
like, we
you know
knew-
exactly where
we
to
know
find like
exactly-
all the spawn points.
like you're paying us. Like you could do it yourself and probably be okay. But if you wanted to, like we've done over. I think over 50 at this point. We've protected over 50 hardcores. No one has ever died. And like we did fucking I can't remember.
Fuse. I remember
Fuse
you
is
did
hardcore.
his
Fuse is hardcore.
recently.
We protected Fuse. We helped Fuse get his.
You helped
I think it was Will the
Fuse?
Elite.
No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding. I'm
Fuse. I think it was Fuse's Will the Elite.
Yeah,
It was just me and
I think he
Ditterbitter
tweeted
and a
that
couple
out,
of his
actually.
boys.
Yeah.
But yeah, we fucking like protected him using like at Scorpia and full ancestral kits, arcane, Arma. Like we've helped protect like really high level hardcores. Like we're not like just like some random band of thugs. It's just like exactly what Cool One said. That's the way I've always viewed it. I don't get like a twisted joy out of taking away your status. Like, yeah, let's make this guy lose
Yeah.
his account. It's more just like
Pay
I
us
love
and
the
we'll
wilderness.
fucking
I
protect
love
you.
I love the risk of the wilderness. And if we were to just like let everyone go, like what is the point? Like why is this achievement cool? Like why is your cape meaningful? If we were just gonna like, oh, we'll just let you live.
Oh shit, you're a hardcore? I'm so sorry, I didn't know. Be on
Yeah,
your
like,
merry
oh,
way.
carry on, mate. Go on, get
Yeah.
your cape, brother. Like, no, like, and then like, yeah, that was controversy on the subreddit too, because people said like, we're like, fucking like.
You know exactly what you're getting
Oh,
into.
so like, dude, like we would if we found a hardcore, we would hold them hostage, and like people really did not like that. They like really did not like that on Reddit and stuff. But like,
what did they want instead? Just kill the guy?
that's
And
what I
not
mean.
offer
Like
him
that's
a
the
way
way I've
out?
said it. Like, and it creates this crazy, interesting, like scenario that like in a video game is just crazy to think about, right? Like, here's this guy with an account worth hundreds of hours, and it's like, look, we'll let you live, like we'll let you keep your account if you can find a way to get us 100 mil before this TV runs out. Like I just thought it was really cool. It
People
wasn't
think it's scummy, but like
yeah, people viewed it because they thought that we were scummy. Like, oh, these guys are just high school bullies who get off on, making people lose
Guy,
stuff. And, like
the
it
hardcore
really
fucked
wasn't
up.
like that. It really
he did
wasn't
not plan
like
his
that.
escape.
It was just thrilling. It was like exhilarating. It's like,
Yeah.
holy shit,
Yeah.
like the stakes that are at play. And it's like, look, there was like at least 10 people who have, got us the 100 mil or whatever we asked for at the time. It honestly depended on how damn bad we were at the time, but like, or the level of the hardcore. But like, yeah, like it was just like this unique scenario that like it was just so like a 1 in a million scenario in RuneScape. Like think about that, like a hardcore who's negotiating for their life. Like it was just so cool. Like it can't really happen anymore because of the way the world is. But at times when those would happen, it was just so like the energy in the call was just like so intense. Like why did you entangle right there? You should have let ancients on. Like it was just so intense and like trying to get the kill.
I'm trying to think. So for some reason that brought up the idea of this game mode that has been discussed, and I've thought about it, is hardcore. Like I mean, like hardcore as in like as hardcore as group hardcore is, where like everything is unsafe, but as a main account.
I have wanted this for so long.
Like, why isn't that a thing?
Years ago.
And
that's
so
kind of cool.
And all you do is if you die, you
right?
just become a normal main again. But you can still have that symbol of like how long you've made it without dying as a main.
Imagine
we got boss
being a PKer account. That would be cool.
Why isn't that a thing? I feel like that's a great addition. That like for people that don't want to live the super tedious Ironman lifestyle, but still want that thrill of like staying alive, just be a hardcore main.
That's pretty cool, actually. I agree. What about Darkscape? What was Darkscape?
Darkscape was basically Deadman mode, but with more steps.
Wasn't it like what we were talking about, though? Wasn't it like you didn't lose stats and stuff, right? It was just like a PvP world scape, kind of?
Yeah, but like, if you bank something in, let's say, Lumbridge, it wouldn't be available in our domain. Like, banking was so weird.
Wow.
Like, moving stuff around was...
Like cities were like actual
That's cool,
like,
actually.
hub places. Yeah, that is kind of cool. It's kind of like did any of you guys play what was the game? What was that big MMO that Amazon came out with a while ago? It was like that too, though. Your storage was tied to different cities. So like, if you wanted to go train,
New World.
What am I thinking? Yeah, New World. New World was like that.
I don't play like mobile hype games recently.
I didn't play it.
That was one of the only few that I did, but it was like that. Yeah, that's a very interesting. I don't know how I feel about that, but that's cool. Kind of
dude.
Cool,
there is literally so many ideas that nobody has like tapped into on like how much potential this game really has for like a new mode and things like that. And oh my gosh, like there truly is just unlimited replayability with this game as long as we I don't know. We just got to get creative with it, and like who knows what this game will look like in the next 5-10 years. I really do wonder, but like ideas like that will keep it fresh.
Honestly, I'm optimistic, man. I actually really am. I feel like the content they've released in the last year has been really good. Like I feel like a lot of people don't like ToA now. I don't know, like a lot of the high-level PvM people seem like to not like ToA, but I was so addicted. I've never been addicted to any PvM release like that, bro. I literally sweat, like, and I'm a PK streamer, right? So I wasn't even getting, like, viewers. Like, I was streaming ToA to, like 20 people and shit, but, like, I was having so much fun. Like, I would wake up, like, shower, get some food, and I would run ToA with my team for, like, 14 hours. Like, I was literally, like, addicted. I don't know why. I just thought it was so fun on release.
I'm fucking glad you say that because, like, it really is the high-level community that's bitching and whining. I'm included in it. And I'm not trying to bitch and whine, but I'm one of those people that just didn't enjoy it as much. And it's just because, well, there's a lot of reasons, but it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, well, time to grind this out for the next few hundred hours.
Yeah,
but
I feel
for
that.
so many players, TOA was in a fantastic update. Like, and I totally see that.
Like the drop, you shouldn't have been able to get some of the rarer drops at the lower invocations, right? Like that would have been like one of the biggest like red flags. I feel like the people didn't write. Like people were getting stabs and Masori pieces on like 50 and 100 invos or whatever.
It really wasn't even. I mean, I know some people had that opinion. I think yes, maybe like the ward and the fang could have been interchanged and just kind of swap those out. There's obviously a lot of things that could have been balanced barely and just made it a little bit nicer, but for the most part it was just something about the high level community really wanting something. When I think of a high level player that was complaining and moaning about it, it's because they really want something that very few people can do, and it's a prestigious thing. And it's you're the ones getting rewarded. And the fact that anybody can go in there and do it, it ruined the experience for them because they wanted it to be a prestigious raid that came out, and they didn't get that. So, but for so many more people than ever, they really just had a really fun time doing TOA.
I think that's the most important thing, is that a lot of people were enjoying it.
I could probably speak for all ends of the spectrum on as far as TOA enjoyment, because I did want to release like a video or like a ramble kind of style thing about my thoughts about TOA, like where it fits and everything. But then Gherkins released a video, and I agreed with almost all of his points, and they weren't whiny. They were very concise. They were very like clear as to what the high-level community really wanted, and how the JMUDs kind of just brushed it all aside. there are issues with TOA, but there are a lot of good things that came out of TOA's release. One big thing I can say is one of my buddies wasn't really playing Rooney that much. TOA got him back into playing, and the fact that like BH got announced got him like more drives into playing again because he was like a huge PKer for like pure builds and throwaway builds. I showed Eli my messages with my buddy Fabio, where he wanted to make like just a fire surge rush into double Gmol account for PvP worlds, but he didn't train to magic level enough because he's not that good at math. So he thought he could just imbue hard into fire surge, but he had like 82 magic, so he could only imbue hard into like earth surge or something. He's like, I think you're forgetting something. He's like, oh fuck it, I guess we're balling with earth surge then. But like, he's fine with like building just shit accounts. Like he's built like Obby Mall accounts, like having them sit at the pumps at Blast Furnace and shit like that.
Yeah.
But like TOA like reignited his drive for playing again.
That's cool.
It reignited my IRL brother like for playing again. Like I gave him like the other dead hardcore I have. Like Eli's got the one that sold hard like the ToB. My brother has the one that DC'd at Hydra. So I gave him that account. He's been like doing TOA with like his boys and everything like that. Like some of them hang out in my chat, but he's been playing again. Like a couple other my IRLs like started playing again. Like Matt started playing. Like he like picked up his Iron Man again. Started tossing around a little bit, and he got interested in playing. Another one like Amanda, she's like started playing. She hadn't played in years. She picked it back up, tried out some raids. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go try like doing some solo Saradomin now and shit like that. It just like reinvigorated people's like desire to play, seeing this big announcement, this big update, and it was just like so accessible that even at 0 invocation, you could still engage with the raid mechanics and have fun with it. You wouldn't exactly be getting rewarded as much as anywhere near as much as a guy that's doing 500 invocation. But there's the chance is still there. There's the 1 in 100 chance in an 8-man that like your entry level could produce a Fang, and like, hey, guess what? Like you and your boys are all celebrating big with your glories and your full void and shit like that. Just it appeals to everybody in some way, shape, or form, and that's the one thing it did correct. Yeah, and I think that's really good.
Yeah, it really was just the loud voices that we always hear, because a lot of us are on Twitch and Twitter, and we are following people that are just dedicating so much time to this game that you hear all the negative stuff, but truly it was a fantastic update for the wider community. Yeah. Obviously no update's perfect.
No.
But it really does make me happy that like you super enjoyed it, Eli, and like so many other people did.
Yeah, it was sick, man. I had so much fun.
Yeah. I will say, like, I kind of agree with something that I've heard SkillSpec say so many times. Do not mistake my anger for passion, or do not mistake my passion for anger. I don't know which way around it goes, but like anytime we're vouching like issues with the game or how something works, it's not because we want to gay people. It's because we want the game to have its longevity. We want it to stay fun. We want it to stay engaging, and we want people to enjoy it. Like, let's say the purple rate is like stupidly high, and like everyone's like, "Oh, we want it nerfed." Like, "Oh, well, you just want to gatekeep us from making money." Like, no, if you're getting a purple every raid, like the excitement's gone. And you're done with the game in a day.
Prices will drop as well. Yeah, it's like you want what's actually best for the game. Like, like that's how I feel about the Wildy shit. People look at me and say like, well, you just want old PJ timer so you can lead your clan of 30 people to fall in on people. It's like, no, like I want what will genuinely result in the most fun, dynamic atmosphere. And like, I'm not just a singles clan like leader. Like, not that I ever was that. We were never really like that. Like, we were just a group of people who like PK together. But I've been everything else. I was a solo PKer. I was a noob who learned mystics. I called in on streams. I've died for max. Like, it just was a more enjoyable and dynamic experience. And like, it's the same principle you're preaching right now. It's like, I think we're people who in certain fields of the game have just the raw hours. Like, there's not that many people with 15,000 PKs. Like, I've just spent like the majority of my 400 days played. I bet at least 200 of them are in the Wildy, probably even more. But you know, like, I just think I have a good perspective of what is actually good, even if like people who don't like it don't realize it. Like who only go out in the Wildy a few times to do certain things. It's like you might not understand the perspective that other people are saying, but I don't know.
I think people need to get their toes wet and really experience it and see why it's so fun, and maybe they'll have a bit of a more open mind.
True, but I feel like the biggest divide thing is what Sae was saying. It's like there's a lot of Iron Men, you know, and it's hard for them without Jagex actually implementing an update that makes it beneficial for them and gives them rewards. It's just it's how will they want to go kill Callisto, you know? Like that's why I'm really curious to see how these multi bosses are going to work. Because how is an Iron Man going to get? I am too. I think they'll do a good job. I hope they do, but it's like, It's got to be next style loot.
I'm pretty sure it's the next style loot. Yeah.
Unless the Ironmen are forced to go kill this one in singles with way worse drop rates, but it must
I'm almost certain it's next style, and I'm also just really looking forward to even just people's streams. Like I'm thinking obviously in like a Twitch scenario of like even just PvMers ganging up with their own viewers, like, hey, let's like go and mass this.
Let's go lock a world down. Everybody get your Verax. Let's go smoke Callisto. Like, and just don't bring a big +1. Don't get ZCB.
That's why we're all getting big doing that for this. This might be a lot of activity.
We're all gonna be streaming with like our whole chats, and there's gonna be wars and stuff going on, and like hopefully. My biggest qualm with it, or like my biggest like complaint, is that it seems to all be in multi. Like the reason why Revs was so good back in the day was that how would you get to Revs? You would either Rev Cave Teleport, which was kind of expensive back then. You would port.
Yeah, they were 40K.
You would burning Ammy to Lava Maze. And you know what that did? It created hotspots everywhere else. Lava Maze was a hotspot because of people tellying in with the Rev bracelets. PKers would sit there and wait. It created a new hotspot. Like that's what they have to aim for, is like, even though it might not be at the hotspot, you got to think about the routes people take to get there. Like the cave exit should like let out maybe north of single strip. Don't let the exits all be in multi. Like make sure that singles gets a little bit of action from this too. So people who
that is how they're planning it. Is like the main room is multi, but then the little routes leading are in singles. That's singles, at least my understanding.
Good. See, that's fire, and they need to do that, and they need to somehow like address the single to multi thing we were talking about, so that people won't be able to just like freely log out and stuff. But that's sick. If they can update this stuff where multi clans get action, singles PKers get action from catching people leaving multi, stuff like that. Like it just creates so many different like atmospheres and environments where different things can happen.
Kind of the same thing how like Ghetto Telly to get to Revs, like the whole Lava Maze. Like, Lava Maze teleport becomes a hotspot, but that's right next to KBD Hill. So that gives KBD Hill more action that you don't really be getting.
Used to be the spot. That used to be where you went to 1v1. If you wanted to go fight people in Mystic, you would hop there. And like now it's actually a hotspot now because of people killing KBDers. And like there's people there. Like that's kind of become a hotspot just because a lot of people have made videos on it recently and stuff. And but yeah, it's nothing like it used to be. It used to be so fun to go hop at 44 Hill, or go to BH 44s and just 1v1. That's the thing. BH coming back is huge too. I'm really excited.
What are your thoughts on BH? I mean,
I gotta say something on that. So
go for it.
Yeah.
It was the whole idea of like saying how's an Ironman going to PK and stuff like that. This is one of the reasons why Bounty Hunter was good. Not be like, oh, an Ironman needs a rune pouch. No, because the accessibility with BH was incredibly low. You could make a shitty baby pure with, let's say, 50 attack, 70 strength. It takes you maybe a day and some crabs to do. Give it an MSB, give it a Gmaul back in the day before the Gmaul got nerfed, and you had something that was PKable on. And they were some of the most fun accounts to do.
And make real money. Like if you went on a 10 kill streak, you turned 100k emblem into
that was one of the most fun things to do. Just take a fresh 50, 70 baby pure with an MSB and see if you could just 1 to 10 real quick.
Yeah, it was sick. That's another thing that Ironman could benefit too is, Iron Men who are really high level endgame Iron Men, right? They probably have tons of rune alchables, tons of rune plates and shit like that. That's rune gear to go PK and edge. And if you get emblems and trade them in, let them buy more gear like that. Let them cash in their wildy points for Nezzies and rune gear and blighteds and Gmaul clamps. Like that was what was sick about emblems, is it was almost a PK currency. You know what I mean? Emblems were like a currency because PKers always needed rune pouches, and the only way they came into the game was from emblems, and it took like a tier 8 to even make one, and they always get consumed when you died. So you know what I mean? So it was like a constantly needing to be renewed resource to bring rune pouches and stuff into the game.
Yeah, and if you got with an emblem, it would just get downgraded.
Yeah, and Wildy Slayer used to drop emblems, bro. That's a lot of people forget. Wildy Slayer used to be
anything on Bounty Hunter World.
Yes.
Yeah, Venenatus was a 1 in 5 chance for an emblem.
If you did it in BH Worlds, it was like insane money. It was lit. It made BH World super active at every every Slayer spot.
This shit was off the chain.
It was so fun, bro. I used to do it. I used to go kill Venenatus and Scorpio. Like I would go kill the bosses. I would kill Chaos Fanatic in BH Worlds. Like I would just do it because I was like a noob and I needed money. And I would get emblem drops and Laren's Key. I don't think Laren's Keys were a thing yet, actually, but
not in the early stage. They were like much later on.
Laren's Keys are dopamine filled. Holy fuck!
Oh yeah, but like it's so sick. That's what the Wildy needs. Is just more little incentives like that. Like more little like goodies that just not one crazy overhaul. Just make everything a little better. Everything a little more worthwhile. All activities need to be a little more beneficial to make it more active.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I've been hoping that and this is just one of the many things, is like those rogue chests out in the rogue's castle.
Yeah.
Like, bro, those things are outdated
They
as
need to be
fuck.
made more relevant. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
like
They
I've
should either be
literally
better
been begging
XP
them
or
as a PvMer, begging them to just update them a little bit more.
make them
And
more
just,
money or
no,
more
like,
XP.
yeah, or just, I mean, they drop hard clues. I'm like, dude, just can the Ring of Wealth, like it's supposed to do, double the chance, so it's like somewhat
Yeah.
worth it? And it's just like, no, there's just no response.
Don't know wall.
Literally don't know wall. Except you can't, yeah.
All right. So I got a serious question. We've been rambling for like 2 hours. How many of the questions in the Twitter comments have we just answered in zero time? I feel like we've at least covered half of them by now.
Oh yeah, over that. In fact,
I
I mean,
looked.
like here's one question. Well, here's two. I guess I'll ask it because like, why the fuck not? Is Clipper wants to know what's the drama between you and It's Will? A cold one.
Dude, I think the serious question is like, what's not the drama? Like, there's just so much. There's just so much of it that it just makes me sick thinking about it. That like I don't want to talk about it because there's so much, you know.
Yeah,
It's one of the biggest baits ever. Like you just put like exclamation mark drama in your title and just like
Or
what I did. I
allegations.
think it was yesterday. Yeah, exclamation mark drama leads into exclamation mark allegations, leads into exclamation mark accusations, and it's just a loop with like a bunch of different stuff. It's just funny to go along with. I don't know how that whole like drama allegations meme started, but we just kind of ride with it.
I think
We like fucking with people sometimes.
Yeah. Hanner putting exclamation allegations one time, I literally started creasing laughing just because it's just so stupid. You know what I mean? Just like,
Yeah.
it's so funny. But he also has a question for you, Eli. When are you moving so you can get some better internet?
Dude, good fucking question, man. I'm losing it here. I have a great apartment.
What is
like
the problem? Is it just like
it's spotty. Like it just goes out. Like I'll be streaming
dude,
and then
fucking sucks.
and like my stream will crash and it just sucks because like it kills your viewer count.
You have no
resets the
fiber
stream.
right out there. They can't
Nah,
service.
dude. We have like we have Breeze Line and Verizon. Verizon is dog shit. Breeze Line is also dog shit currently.
I am so
We got
sorry,
Spectrum and
dude.
Frontier, and fiber does not service the area where I'm living,
bad,
so
man.
I'm just stuck with 20 up or
So
35
bad.
up, maybe.
This is the thing. This is the thing. I get 800 down and 60 up whenever it's working properly, but I get
And then it just
like
gets spotty.
it just
random
it'll
up.
like
Yep.
like it used to for a while. It was like my stream would crash and come right back up, and then for a while it was like it will go down and then I permanently have no upload for like 2 hours.
Mhm.
Lately, it's been a different thing. Lately, it's been literal like 1 to 3 second packet loss, like just total loss. Like I'll be in a fight. Like the other night, I was fighting an ancestral at fucking altar. I'm risking like 400 mil, and everything just freezes. Everything, like my chat, my YouTube video, everything freezes for 4 seconds, and then it comes back, and I just get hit with a fucking 18 barrage into a 57 AGS. I'm on 2 health in full ancestral. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? I'm like freaking out. Like I get hit by 3 hits all at once, and like it's just like I don't even know, man. I don't know what to do. Like
I dealt with that shit. Like
so
my
awful,
first
man.
year and a half of streaming. I
So
feel your
tilting,
fucking
man.
pain. I would literally call my ISP like 3 times a week.
yeah,
I'm like,
I
get
have.
your
I had a
fucking
guy
asses
here.
over here and fix this shit.
Like it's my job. Like the
know.
worst thing is when I'm motivated to stream and I'm like, 5 hours in, I'm like, I'm feeling like a 10-hour stream today. I'm feeling really good. Let's get these, let's get in. And like, I just can't, because like some days, like I don't know if you guys stream a lot, but like some days I just feel shitty. Like I don't want to go talk to people. I don't want to be in front of a camera. Like, what sucks is the days when you're like actually in a good mood and it just gets spoiled because you. Like, just because of
already
physical
Holy shit, I'm getting
limitations, you just can't do
PTSD
it.
of you like
So
telling me
tilting,
this.
man. So luckily today I streamed for 5.5 hours today with not a single drop. So like, fingers crossed it's getting better. The technician they sent out said that there was like a fault in the line somewhere near my area. They said like multiple people were reporting these issues. Said it would be fixed in like a week. It's been like a week and a half. It's seemingly better than it was, but like
It's impossible to know because it's just
randomly
so sporadic.
happens. Yeah,
Yep.
and you can't address
Exactly
it
what they
because
would
like
say to me.
they send a person out and they're like, it looks like it's working fine. I'm like, yeah, right now it is, but like
I know that's the worst. They come out and they're like, the internet's working flawlessly.
it's like no
You're
shit,
like,
man.
dude,
Seems good to me.
Dude, literally, I don't know your whole situation, but like, it was basically I had to move. I had to because
Yeah,
it was
I mean,
literally
bro,
affecting
it's-
my mental health. Like I was going
it's
fucking
looking-
crazy. I was getting so
It's
pissed
looking
off
like
every
that.
day.
Like I have my own apartment here and like it's just cheap. Like I live in central Pennsylvania. It's like pretty cheap place to live. Like the median income, like the average income here is like 40K. Like I pay $850 a month for a 2-bedroom, no no utilities, no like anything included, like everything included. I
Jesus.
mean, 850 everything included plus like 100 for internet. That's like literally my monthly upkeep to live here. It's like really cheap.
Yeah.
But it's
850 for
like,
2-bedroom all inclusive is actually
it's
really
sick. I have a
nutty. That's
kitchen, a
insane.
living room. It's crazy. It's so cheap. It's so cheap. Like I'm grateful for it. It has like a nice view, like parking spot. Like I love it here. It's out of the city. It's up in the woods. Like it's really nice. But it's just like, fuck, man. If I can't do my job, what am I to do? Like I'm gonna have to find a new place or a new provider or something. I mean,
That's what
I
you
don't
gotta
want
do.
to because I like it here a lot. But
Fuck.
like
That
damn.
sucks. That
So-
sucks.
It's like it's my first place on my own too. Like I'm 25. I was living with roommates like up until I was like 23. Like I've been here for about 2 years, and it's just like I really like it. It's my own apartment. I love it here, but it's not loving me back lately.
Yeah, I've had the experience of fiber before because, like, at my old place several months back, we were using like a plan that, like, a Bupkis plan that my roommate, like, picked up for us. I was like, chipping into it, but it was just like bad. Like at the end of the day, it was 400 down, but it was like 40 up, and sometimes it would be like 3 up for just no reason.
Yep.
And like I called the
Absolutely.
ISP, I'd be like, "Hey, listen, like what's good, what's going on here? Can we like change this?" And they're like, "No, like this is the best we offer." And then I looked into like the workarounds for it because it was on Optimum, so I looked into Optimum for quote unquote business, and I was like, "Huh, I could technically say my shit is a business." And then I
Yeah.
say like, "Oh, it's for business, like for digital entertainment for a subsidiary of Amazon." And they set me up with a fiber plan for 500 down, 400 up, and within 2 days they're out there like setting my shit up.
Oh yeah.
And I got to experience those speeds, and dude, I am so mad that I've moved out of that place literally just for the internet plan
Fiber
that we have
sounds
because
great,
now
man.
it is just.
Would it
I'm
like
on
never
Spectrum
drop
if you've
either?
heard of them.
Fiber
It
like
would
doesn't
almost
drop. It's just
never
like
drop
because it's like you're
Never.
basically hardwired to like the server, right? Like there's like no.
Yeah,
It's
no
light.
it would
wireless.
almost never. The only time it would drop is if our power went out. Like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was it.
Yeah.
Fiber
Like,
is
it was
fucking
that
nuts.
good.
It's great. That's what I'm using now because I moved
have
out of
it.
that shithole where literally every single day there'd be interruptions just
Yeah.
for no reason. Like the weather is
so annoying,
perfect
bro.
outside and it just like cuts out. I'm like, bro,
Like I pay for the top plan. Like I pay them like 140 a month or 150 a month, and it's like, dude,
they're
like
fucking scamming, dude.
I should be getting
If you're
reimbursed.
paying
Like
140
this
a
is,
month, you're getting hoed.
Dude, I'm just gonna
dude, it's the
say,
best plan. It's like the best option here. It sucks. They have a monopoly here. It's bad. Like they're the only provider because they
Yeah,
know
fuck those.
Verizon is like giga dog shit. I had them in high school.
Yep.
Very like horrible. And they know they're the only provider. They just got bought out by like a bigger. They were used to be Atlantic Broadband. They got bought out by like a bigger conglomerate, and they're like
That's the
Breezeline
same thing
now.
as what Spectrum does to us.
Yeah, they
They
know.
know.
They know we're fucked, and like I think that's also why they're not so like. They don't care if you tell
There's-
them like, well,
yeah,
fix
there's
it or we're
no
gonna leave.
rush. It's
They're
just
like, where are you gonna
we
go?
don't care.
We know that we're the only
Dude,
people.
all I'm gonna tell you, and this is my only advice, is like just move, dude. Like
Yeah.
you, like it. Unfortunately, like
Yeah.
it just
know.
won't stop. Like it, in my opinion, it just will not stop because it was the same thing. They would tell me the same thing, like, "Oh, we finally found the solution. It was this. Like, it's gonna work now." And it would like work for like 3 days, and it just go back.
Yeah,
I'm like,
and it starts
dude, like,
dropping again. It's
what the
awful,
fuck?
bro.
Like, are you like
It's so
programming this to
exhausting.
just piss me off? Like, oh my god, yeah. I would just say and I was getting really frustrated. So if you get to the point of just like unbearable, like, dude, you gotta
Yeah.
move.
Yeah. We're getting there. I also have a neighbor who really hates me, bro. My computer room
Really?
is like right
Why?
against his bedroom.
Man,
Because I'm
fuck
loud.
that guy.
Like, dude, like, I mean, right now we're chilling, right? But like, there would be nights during Fresh Start World where it's like 2 in the morning, and I'm leading like 40 people at Lava Dragons, like, push north, club that, club that. Like, I'm screaming. This guy just starts banging on the wall like his
Oh,
party,
that
like several times.
sucks,
There's been 3 different occasions where he's come to my apartment door and like
So-
rang my doorbell like 80 times, like ding 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 ding, ding, like until I answer it.
That's so
Just like-
obnoxious,
Yeah, I
dude.
know.
You
I've
have to
got everything
move.
on.
That,
I've
there's
bought-
2 problems. You gotta
Yeah, I
get out of
know.
there.
You can't have like anxiety when you're trying to stream and be a content creator, right? Like it shouldn't be in the back of my mind. Like, am I being too loud? Like, I'm trying to be as
Oh,
entertaining
that
as possible.
sucks.
Like, it does weigh on your mental when you're trying to put a stream on and shit.
All right, I got a bit of a mini story going off like how Sae Bae saying like, listen, sometimes you just got to move.
Yeah.
Me and the guy I was living with, we used to live somewhere else before we lived in like our old house like for 3 years, and this place was literally like 2 to 3 blocks away from the ghetto, from where we were, and there were like multiple times like this is like my early days of streaming, say, so like you might remember from me like being dry at Cox and shit like that, back when the face cam was still there, like that room that was our old place. And there were times where you would actually hear gunshots coming from my stream.
Jesus.
If you were tuned in.
It's like a horrible, like a really bad neighborhood.
like 2 blocks away was like a really bad neighborhood. Some place called like Gordon Heights. If like anyone from like Long Island knows what Gordon Heights is, like, hey, you know how bad it is down
Oh
there.
God.
But like we were blocks away, so like it would go off and it'd be like someone's like, "Hey, what was that sound?" It'd be like, "Oh yeah, it's some fireworks. There's a festival going on at the park down the street." And like I'm
Literally
just
just
lying straight through my fucking
shootings.
teeth.
You were
But
shooting.
like the rent there was like super cheap. Our landlord was like super nice, but like it was super cheap just because like the area was just like so bad. And like me and Nick were like, "Listen, we got to move." Like
Yeah.
we can't keep going on like this. We lived there for like a solid year, and then we like piled off to somewhere else.
Yeah, speaking of moving, like I'm moving back to Oregon. That's where I'm originally from, and I'm moving there in like early February. And I'm just so even though like I have great internet here and like things for the most part are pretty fine, I need a change up. Like I don't know, sometimes you just need
I
that.
feel that hella, man. I'm living in my
Yeah.
hometown that I grew up in, and I like it here. You know, I got family here. People
Mm-hmm.
know me here. I walk into a bar, people are like, "Yo, your dad's, Doug." Like people know me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm known in the area. I know everyone, but like at the same time, it's like, I want to fucking socialize, like meet a
Yeah.
girl, like meet women. Like I know
Yep.
every girl here, bro. Like I went to the high school. Like I played football. Like I was friends with most people. Like I just don't feel like there's anything really here for me other than affordable living. You know what I mean? I'm living here because it's
Yep.
cheap. There's not much opportunity. And
That's
like
why
the
I
thing is,
was living here. It's just 'cause it's
yeah,
cheap.
like it's just convenience. Like my career's online, so I can go anywhere, right? So I really should. I should move somewhere that's gonna work for me and like,
Play that to your
you know,
advantage, 100%.
yeah. I really need to. I think 2023, I might see that happening, but it's just like,
It's a lot.
yeah,
Like
it's a
there's a
lot
lot of
moving all your
effort to it.
shit
Yeah.
and
It is a big
especially
process, but
alone.
like
Like
once it's
without,
done, you're good.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I'm
I can tell
looking
you firsthand.
forward to
Like
it.
I moved to Florida very recently, like within the past month,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm.
this is where my entire family has just lived for the past 7 years. So I've been away from them for that entire time, just living up in New York, paying double for rent, having cold winter conditions, the whole shebang. But like I knew people up there, but that was about it. But like younger brother, like homeboy had a kid recently. We've got the new generation coming in. Like I'm an uncle now, and I kind of want to move
Yeah.
down here. And I'm like, I can just move down. It's not like I really have to worry about finding another job, going through the whole interview process and everything, and making sure I got a place to go. I can just do it on a whim if I want to.
Mm-hmm.
And like if you have the power to do that, like if you're in our position, you should 100% take that opportunity and go to wherever it
Mm.
is that like you feel like you could settle down.
Yep.
Because like once you've got that out of the way, like your whole living situation,
Yeah. I'm so
you can
indecisive,
just
bro.
adapt to it.
I don't even know what I want, man. Bro,
Yeah. It'll take
a year and a half ago, I was painting trees and managing deer habitat. Like this shit just kind of happened. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
I just feel like I'm expected to figure out like a fucking family and like find a relationship. All this shit. It's just
I'm not telling you to have a kid or anything. I'm
no,
just
no,
saying
I
like
know. But like no. But it's like that's stuff that I want. Like I do want like a
Yeah.
family and like a future, and it's just like, fuck, man. Like I don't see that happening here, but like where I don't know where to go. I don't know where I want to go. I don't know what I want to like
Dude,
do.
I'm probably most likely gonna move to Eugene, where it's like just
Where's
fucking
that?
in Oregon.
Oregon?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like real like that's where U of O is, and I don't
That
know.
sounds sick.
It just
College sounds dope.
it's like so much more beautiful there. Like where I am currently, it's like what you kind of said, Colin, where it's like kind of in the ghetto. It's cheap rent. Like I literally have just been like my share of rent's like under $400 here. Just like
I am so jealous. Fuck you, honestly. Just fuck you.
and I've been living that way, and like it's been really great, like growing a stream that way because there's like not much stress.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Eugene is fucking expensive. Like it's if you want like a 1 bedroom apartment, it's like 1,800 up, and that's insane. But at the
Wait,
same
how
time,
much? Say it again. How much is it?
like 1,800. If you wanted like a cheap
one-bedroom.
1 bedroom, like I'm talking
Yeah.
about more of like a nicer end. But if you wanted just like the bare minimum, it's probably like 1,200 for a 1 bedroom
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
And
I feel
here,
that.
like we're living in a 3 bedroom for under 1,000. Well, now it's over
Yeah.
1,000. But
Yeah, that's
I'm
nice
like,
as fuck.
dude, just the fact that you're gonna be in a way better, like safer place and way more beautiful, way more like stuff to
Yeah,
do.
it's
and
gonna influence you
concerts
better.
and
I
shit.
think it's
Yeah.
worth it. Worth the opportunity cost.
Oh,
There's stuff for you to
100%.
do.
I just think of the
Your
extra money. I'm
mental,
like,
just
dude, I'm gonna just be thriving there rather than just like
Yeah.
bumming around here.
I think the most important, if you're gonna be a content creator and this type of shit, one of the most important like currencies or values you want to put on your mental health is like the most important thing because you're not gonna be
Yes.
able to
Big
entertain
time.
people and be a positive force on the internet if you're not even happy with your situation and where you're at. Like, I've noticed that a lot this year. Like I've been going through like a 20 day. Like I've been going to the gym like every day. I've been doing bad. Like I used to not have to worry about training and shit, right? Because I was in the woods. I hiked all day. I used to train boxing and Muay Thai. I still do, but just spottedly. The last 20 days have been way harder, but yeah, like I wouldn't have to worry. It's like I used to worry about having time to play RuneScape after work. Now it's like I have to worry about like maintaining my mental and like my body and my relationships. It's like the stuff that used to be easy
would
is
come
now
naturally.
like yeah, I didn't have to think about. Now it's like I need to like focus on my diet and like exercising because it's like I can't just keep DoorDash. You can't DoorDash Taco Bell every night and not get out of your chair, bro. Like you're gonna get fat.
Honestly, we keep DoorDashing Taco Bell. Like I run 4 days a week, but we're still DoorDashing that
Bro.
shit.
Oh yeah, I still do once in a while. I've been doing better lately.
You
but...
have to keep DoorDash, just like once. If you could keep it very moderate, like maybe 3 times a month, like you're golden. You're just chilling. But when it gets to the point where it's like twice a day, like I was doing, like Jesus,
that's what
Christ,
that's where I was.
Eli,
too, pal.
I gotta say, man, the more I've talked with you, we have so much fucking in common. Like it
sounds
unreal.
like it.
Like it's unreal.
Like
I'm hearing your situation. It sounds exactly where I was 2 years ago. Just,
yeah. I'm figuring it out, though. I'm
Christ.
figuring it out.
Yeah. It all comes together.
I feel like reading like content creators like been in this field as long as we have, like we kind of went through the same ebbs and flows as far as like transitioning from being in an employed status to being self-employed. It's like no one's our boss anymore. Now we got to take care of ourselves.
Now we
I definitely let myself go for a couple of months, and I definitely felt like less. What's the term I want to use?
Depressed?
Less confident, I guess, in ourselves, more depressed about certain things because I wasn't I wasn't actually doing anything.
It affects everything.
Like I wasn't having coworkers anymore. Like we weren't me and my coworkers weren't having conversations at the shitty coffee machine in the break room or whatever. So you have to do things to keep yourself occupied. So I started jogging 4 times a week at least, and that definitely helps the mental big time. Big endorphins on that one. Highly recommend.
Literally,
you have to take care of yourself. You have to be your own boss.
Yep.
And you have to be more responsible about it.
That's part of the job, is being your own caretaker and making sure you're doing the right shit. That's how I feel.
You're having a good time.
If I don't fucking like myself and I'm like, you're such a piece of shit, bro. You've eaten fucking Chick-fil-A 4 days in a row. You're just playing Fresh Start Worlds. Like if that's how I feel in my mind, how in the hell is someone else gonna like me if I don't like me right now? I mean, like, how are these people in chat gonna be like, yo, what's up, dude? This is so funny. If I'm sitting here just thinking about the lazy piece of shit I am, like, it's so real. Like, you just gotta do the right shit.
If you're not having a good time, ain't no one having a good time. You know,
100%.
You got to make sure, number one's gonna be having a good time. Everybody copies that vibe. Like it spreads it around. Everyone will be having a good time now. Like, hey man, just knock this guy's fucking lights out of the Rev Caves and Fresh Start Worlds. Copped his key, 500K. We're balling.
Bouncing around the room. My neighbor's pounding on the wall. You know it's a good night. Like,
dude,
just got a nice vibe to people that be hanging out.
Yeah,
it's fucking nice just getting reminded that I'm not the only one in these situations. Like so many people, and the crazy thing is content creation and Twitch stream and stuff. It's just brand new. Like we're the first generation to experience it. So there really was no instruction manual of this is how you should do it. Nor would I have followed it anyway. But still,
even just social media, just normal people, how so much of our actual social interactions that we have, and if you want to call it that, is just online. So much of your dopamine and the feeling you get when you get approval from others, or
a comment on YouTube.
So
you post a fucking YouTube video and you're just oh yeah, the next few hours are gonna be fucking glorious. Just
or horrible. When I post hardcore Ironman killing videos. You're such a fucking loser. You'll never beat Oda Block. You only kill Ironmen. You fucking loser.
Honestly, I respect that. Fuck Ironmen. Pieces of shit, man. Get them out of this game. Kill all Ironmen.
I have gone on a spree the past 3 months of literally hiding every single motherfucker that just pisses me off in the comments. Just hide. I'm like, dude, I feel great doing this.
You have to, bro. I do too. I used to reply to all of them when I was very new. I had sub 5K subs. I would be like, what the fuck? Okay, it would start with it would start with reasoning with them. How do you feel like this? I'm just doing this for fun. And when you realize some of these people just don't. You know what I mean? You're not breaking through, and then it just would devolve into me flaming them. I would say the most.
Honestly, good. Fuck them.
Just flame the fuck out of them. It was not healthy, but I would flame them really hard, and then I would pin it. I would pin it. Only to the people who really sounded dumb. It was not right though, because it would just it's kind of.
Dude, it affects you as a person. I was getting literally. I remember just. I had made mistakes of just like little mistakes where I'm like, okay, I really shouldn't have done that. And it's like you get fucking harassed in the comment section for it, and you're like, fuck. And then like I just remember like certain comments would literally eat me up for like 2
how
days.
Can somebody think this, bro? Like
I know, and that's all I
you
thought
have
about.
such
I'm like,
good intentions, right? It's like how can it be viewed this way? Like it's so tilting, but you just can't. Like no matter what you do, there's gonna be weirdos who fucking log and spam your account every day and rag you every day. Like there's just gonna be those weirdos.
I'm glad I don't have to deal with some of that shit.
Oh, bro,
Fuck.
if you knew that's the one thing. Like I'll say, as being a PKer, that we have to deal with. That like
deal with fucking.
If you're gonna be a PK
creatures.
streamer, you will have to at some point, not at some point, at multiple times throughout your streaming career, you will get ragged, or you'll have one weirdo who just decides like they're gonna latch onto your stream and come every day for 5 hours.
Fuck
like
that, dude.
Oh,
I'm
like
sorry.
fucking secondaries.
I couldn't log into my account. Secondaries has never done that to me, but he is a bit of a fucking clown. But
man, fuck that guy.
Yeah, he's an idiot. But fucking like, dude, literally log and spam. Like I couldn't even log into Eliop for like a year, 2 years.
That's
like unless
stupid.
I use Steam client. I had to play on Steam. I had to play on this jank out client with no plugins, no nothing. There was a bug where any item that was transparent, like vials, spirit shields, it for whatever reason
it was pure white, right?
It would like deep fry them, bro. They were like bright neon. I'm PKing and my pupils are getting singed looking at these Gatorade fucking brews in my MV, like all because this clan are just login spamming my account with a bot, like just camping it.
It's what I call them creatures. Just fucking vermin on the game that just take pleasure into just fucking being a degenerate piece of fucking shit.
Literally just
I dealt with that shit in revs. I'm so I get like that that come up of just anger that I experience where it's like, bro, you're on this fucking game 19 hours a day. Go to goddamn sleep and go to school or something, you piece of shit.
Do something, like goddamn.
Like, ain't you a full-grown adult? Like, you're not a content creator. Surely you have a job and, like, you know, people that you need to care for and care about, right?
Dude,
certainly.
It's what you say. It's like, just they have nothing else going on, and they will just harass you just over and over and over. And there's no reasoning with them, like you said, Eli. Like, you try to reason with them, there is no reasoning. They don't think that way.
There's nothing. There's no getting through, bro. Like,
Jesus Christ. I'm sorry about that. I do forget about that because on top of like what I've at least noticed with PK streams is like usually you can grow quite quickly as long as you're entertaining, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Very much so.
And you can actually and you can get like pretty good amount of like support just from like the community because like they're fucking generous as hell.
100%.
But on top of that, there's a lot of downsides that a lot of people don't consider.
You gotta deal with a lot of shit. You get ragged. You get camped. The big thing now is all these things we were talking about earlier with like the meta, like Zebos and Bofas, all this shit is just that some people are just insanely good. I think I'm not like top percent or anything. I think I'm at a level where I'm like very inconsistent. Like some days my hands are cold. Some days, you know, I fucking hit arms and I'm not clicking good. Like weird shit like that. But like days when I'm on point, I feel like I could compete with anybody and I could hang with anybody. Like I could get a kill chance on anybody. But there's some people who are just actual calculators and just disgustingly good at this game, and they just play it all day. And like some of these kids, bro, like it's just the same group of like 4 to 5 people who just stream snipe every PK streamer all day. Like you'll look at these names. Like I'm not gonna say them now just because I don't even want to give these fucking losers any kind of clout. But like, there's people who literally live to sit on Twitch and just snipe streamers. Like they could literally have more success if they just went to Rev Caves and hopped. But instead, they choose to sit there and stare at your screen with the world hider on, even though they're like literally
to get attention, pretty much.
Like they just want to see your reaction. Yeah, they want to see you. They want to see me mauled and get triggered. Like this fucking loser just can't. Like they want to see me lose my cool. And like some days they get through. Some days I lose it, and I call them everything. And I'm like you're a fucking fat loser. You literally play this game more hours a day for me. It's my fucking job. Like I lose it, but it's like. That's what they want. They want to see you snap. They want to see you break, and it's just like
it's so bad.
It's such a hard battle to try not to give in to them because that's exactly what they want. It's exactly what you want to do. And I don't even feel good after.
Humiliation kink where it's like they get off to like you talking down about them kind of thing, so they keep just coming back for more.
Yeah,
I feel like there's definitely people like that in RuneScape because like everyone in RuneScape, like shout out Ignoble, be talking about like having people step on them and everything. So I don't know.
Dude, the thing is, even a lot of them aren't even as weird people as we'd like to think, that's what hurts the most. Some of them are just actual, like some 18-year-old who's in college and he just has a bunch of free time. He's like, I'm gonna go fuck with this guy for 5
No,
hours.
when
like,
when it's a non-stop thing, when it's a recurring thing,
every
no, they
day.
are not fucking sane. They
they're
have some
weirdos.
deep goddamn issues.
Yeah, nah,
I'm
actually,
sorry.
I agree. If it's a daily thing, like their
Yeah,
whole
if
goal
it's
is
a
just to
normal
fuck
like
you up.
once in a while, like fine, have your fun, you're drunk or whatever. But like, holy shit, there's a
I
difference.
just remember this dude's name. You remember a dude called Yuzla or Vizla or something like that?
No,
Yes.
Yuzla.
Ultimate
Before that, he was
fucking
called
right
Weed
guy.
Sale. He's from.
Dude,
he
I
started
remember-
in the business community, bro. That's where he started.
Dude,
I used to.
I
sit and
remember
voice this
seeing a
kid.
clip of fucking skill specs knocking this dude's lights out in PvP world and finally killing him, and he just screams, "Sit the fuck down, clown!" It was like one of the most satisfying clips to ever see. Just
Dude,
being a
that's
ragger
so
just getting
funny that you
stabbed
know
the
that guy's
fuck down.
name. Yuzla.
Yeah.
So before Yuzla, he was called Weed Sale. That was what his
Dude,
name
he was a
was.
problem in fucking 2K revs as well. We had to deal with his bitch ass back then.
His name changed. Abyss. I don't know how I remember this. It's on YouTube somewhere. He used to rag Abyss as well. And he stream sniped Abyss in fucking Falador at the West Bank. And Abyss, I don't know if he hit his inventory or what, but a user was in max. And this is like back in 2017, 16, when like an Aram staff set was like, worth significantly more than it is now. Like that kind of set now is like 30 mil. Like, not saying that I RWT, but like the value of gold was worth a lot more back in the day than it is relative to now. It's
We're
like
not
a
stupid.
max.
We know the value of gold is under 30 cents a mil, okay?
So
Ain't nobody
cheap
fucking
right now.
being that naive.
This is
all
like
right?
back in the days when it was like, I don't know, because I didn't RWT back then or like don't now, but like I think it was like dollars probably. Like that set was worth like, 5 to 10x probably what it is now actually. And like Abyss like snuck a spear in and froze Yuzla and speared him into multi and had everybody log in and he got smoked on stream for max. And like it was the same thing though. Everybody's like, sit the fuck
So
down. Man.
satisfying.
Like, you literally sit here and stream snipe all day. Like this is your fucking life work for the last week and only to get smoked. Like just to get smoked in front of everybody. Like it's that is the one upside. When you actually smoke them for like a big kill, it's like, dude, there's no bigger bliss. Like when I killed McGoon
It's
today for
actually
270
so
mil,
fucking
bro,
nice.
240 mil. That I just fucking, I'm walking on air right now. I'm not gonna lie, boys. I killed my number one op today for maximum for an arcane. Like I feel great.
Yeah, when you get like that one guy down, like that one piece of shit in the community down, it's just like so
bro.
satisfying.
These kids were fucking typing like my family members' names, my mom's street address. Like I try not to go in anymore just because I don't even want to like feed that.
Yeah,
like, because dude, like it would bring out like the most triggered, angered part of me. Like you know what I mean, like where I just snap and I don't go to the doxing shit, but I just start typing like it just brings out a toxic side of me, like where I'm just like, fuck you, you piece of shit, like you're such a loser, and like I'm just typing like crazy. And it's just like I just killed him today, totally like zen, like didn't even say anything. I turned my run energy off and I walked to Mage Bank with my helmet off in slow mo while Drake played, and I was like, yeah, I just fucked that guy up. Like I'm not even gonna pop off right now. Like thank you for the 240. I'm at peace with it.
That's fucking funny.
It's such a good feeling.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like I'm making my own changes in my content simply for my own mental health and just realizing like I need to fucking change. Like there's no way I could, and I'm not even dealing with the shit you deal with, but just in my own head, I think like, what's the next 5 years for me and with content creation?
No,
like I can't.
I think like that too. Yeah, I can't. No, I think like that too, bro. I can't. I can't hop at the Chaos Altar for 5 more years. Like, I gotta do that too. Like, I'm a PKer, but like, I don't even think I can play RuneScape for the next 5 years. Like, I can.
Yeah, you have to
will the
think of like
game-
what, and it's not even about like what you can do. It's like what are you going to enjoy? Because the true benefit of content creation, like the reason I got into it was because it's fucking fun. Like I wanted to just be free and just enjoy what I want to do. And as soon as that stops becoming enjoyable, it's like you got to change things, or else you're just going to go into this fucking
I mean, that's the whole reason why I wanted to escape the 9 to 5, right? Was to do like what I want to do for myself. And it's like you're still working for yourself, but if you aren't enjoying what you're doing, that's very hard though. It's a very small percentage of people in the world can make a comfortable living doing something they love doing. Like that's hard. But I don't know. I think I'll figure it out. Whether it might not be RuneScape forever, but like I'll adapt. I'll fucking figure it out. I'll make content one way or another. And I hope RuneScape lasts forever. I want RuneScape to be around forever, man. I want to PK and make clips forever. I think I genuinely love it. It's one of those games. Like it's only I'm 25. I have 400 days playtime. Like quite literally, like over a year of my life has been sat here logged in, like playing. It's crazy to think like that, but.
Well,
listen, we're in older shoes. I think Sater, you're like 27, 28 or something like that now.
yeah, 27 and a half.
Yeah, I'm 33. I've been playing this game since I was 14. It's
you've
been a
been
very
playing
big
for a
part of my
minute.
life. Like, we all want to see it do well just because it's good. There's a reason it's been around.
Yeah.
And there's a reason we've been playing it for so long, you know?
Yeah, it's a great game, man. And very tight knit community. Everybody knows everybody. I love that. I love like that's something I love my account. Like you know what I mean, like being just my main. That's the reason why I only play my main. I've never really been like into Ironman and stuff. Is I just like I have people on my friends list I've known since I was 13. Like I just like it's a alternate life for me. It's a different.
It's like your virtual life.
Yeah, it's like a literal alternate life.
You're like, what world are you on right now doing bard fishing? Where you at?
449, sitting here catching them up. Still going.
I don't know if I can't log into that world. I don't have high enough total level. Can you go down to 1500?
Nerd.
I just want to show you like a little project I've been working on. If you ain't seen it,
let me see.
Go to-
I'm 420.
I can log into that world. So I'm not going to be PKing on this account yet because I still have I think like 50 combat tests left to do. But this is my new little med level guy. He's adorable.
Ooh, let me see. Oh, it's like a Fang Pure 82.
Oh, we had to get 82 because of fucking combat diaries, but it's 113. It caps out of that. So we can still bully pures at North Revs.
Damn. Yeah, that's actually a sick ass account. 113, 80 def. You're basically a main. I mean,
it's as high as you can get as med level before Shawnee starts flaming you.
All right. Well, we really have covered all the topics, and I think we honestly kind of had a nice little ending session right there.
Solid.
So
Agreed.
I want to just get you guys to just give a couple shout outs. I usually ask for 3, but I'm trying to like switch it up, not so it's just a total obligation. But if there's anybody in the community that you think deserves a shout out, feel free. I'll start with a cold one, and then we'll go to Eli.
It's just any 3 people I could give a shout out to.
And it doesn't even have to be 3, just some people that you want to give a shout out to. Changing it up.
I'm a little cooked, so I'm gonna let Eli do it first.
Okay.
So I can gather my thoughts.
I'm gonna pick some I'm gonna pick some low key PK content creators who I like. Shout out to GSpotter01. He makes like just funny random one-off videos on YouTube. He's like a pretty small channel, but he's just like I don't know, bro. He's got style. Shout out GSpotter. Shout out the Donator on Twitch. He's been popping off lately. Big pure PK or high risker. Super positive guy. Super funny dude. Streams hella. Check him out. And I don't know for the last one. Shout out my boy Qnix, bro. I was fucking tripping balls on mushrooms in San Diego. He calmed me down, bro. He gave me his vape and chilled me out. So shout out my dog Qnix, man.
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to Qnix as well. I've been like enjoying watching his stream, seeing him just like improving, getting better.
Dude, man.
How is it?
I knew I liked Qnix when we walked into this party and everyone's trash and like getting fucked up, and Qnix is at the bar in the kitchen trying to beat an Inferno run. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Where's TwitchCon, bro?
That is so fucking cute. I don't know why, dude. Just like, what the hell are you doing?
I love Qnix, man.
Listen, I'll be straight honest. Like, I love watching people that are like learning to get better and like actually actively willing to get better at the game. Like Qnix is a perfect example of this. Like going from being like
dog
dying
shit
to fucking demonic gorillas.
He died to pickpocketing a woman. He literally lost his hardcore status to pickpocketing a woman.
That screams volumes too, but
Level 2.
He went from like that to now just like actually like grinding from start to finish, doing an Infernal Cape without T-bow, like doing it Bofa style instead. Like they're not like too much different, but there is like a difference. But the man fucking like just straight up like, it was kind of enjoyable, I gotta say, watching someone from not being that good at the game to going to getting Infernal Cape level, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Having a T-bow and Infernal Cape on his Iron Man.
I mean, listen, the T-bow was Timmy Turner, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah, no, for real. But
what does Timmy Turner mean?
All right, so Timmy Turner / Billy Bob is like a saying for people that are just like stupidly lucky.
Spooned, yeah.
Spooned, lucky, like kind of person to have Tumek and Shadow, but be wearing like Aram's top and bottom and void gloves. Okay. Like that's a Billy Bob. A Timmy Turner's like just someone who just gets insanely lucky, or just someone who is like a victim in the wilderness and just wants things their way and to be safe.
Okay, yeah.
Timmy Turner.
You can do that. So I definitely give one to Qnix. He's been blowing up a little bit. I got to give another shout out to my boy Jimbo Blowpipe OSRS. I can't fucking like talk in words and coherence, but he's a homie of mine. He's a real one. Dude's like hella good at what he does. Always like a real one to like tune into. Like anytime he goes live,
just like not that often because he works full time. But it's always good to see the man. It's like just I pull up. He's always exactly the same. Very real. Very good at the game. I wanted to get him PKing with me too, because he'd be like hella good with it without good
Yeah,
use of the
bro.
Inferno.
I've watched him too. His tech skill is really high, and that's
Yeah.
like, most important thing. Is just being able to perform actions fast and think on the fly, which is Inferno. You know what I mean? Like in a dynamic situation. There's not very many PvM things in this game that are dynamic like that.
Yeah, that man be setting up triple off flicks
Yeah.
like a fucking nothing in 57 plus. And I'll give one more to Clipper because he's like a homie of all of us.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
everything.
Shout out Clipper.
He's a real
I'm
one.
throwing a fourth one on. Shout out my boy Clipper. He taught me
Yeah.
CMs and shit.
Dude, why was it just at the very goddamn end of this episode you brought up fucking mushrooms? Jesus Christ, man. We could have bonded even further, man.
Legit, I love
Because
mushrooms, bro.
listen,
So
you
fun.
fucking had a hashtag Satyr Gone Wild fucking moment on Twitter recently, all right?
Bro,
He really
bro.
was.
Listen, first of all, we're gonna have a goddamn part 2 to this in the
I'm
future
down.
because
I'm down,
there's
bro.
too
We'll talk more
much
about
more to talk about. And
I have too many funny mushroom stories to tell, bro. Like actually,
Yeah.
so many good ones. We will.
we'll say
Bro, the
that,
last time I
I'm
did them was when I was in like my mid-20s.
bro.
And they're an experience. They
At the
really
fucking
are.
based party at midnight, I'm already drunk. I'm already
Oh,
wasted
God.
on. We won't even go into on what, but fucking, I'm not gonna name who, but a couple other streamers came up to me and they had them in capsules, and they're like, "Yeah, you can just have them, just take them." And I'm like, "Fuck it, yeah, like I'll just take them." Like I've done
Oh,
mushrooms like a good amount of
fuck,
times, but
yeah.
I'm very drunk and I'm at a social function with people that
fuck.
I'm like just.
I already know
leaving.
exactly who gave them to you, not because they told me, but because I know exactly who it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Because I know people.
Dude,
I
I'm
ain't
just
gonna rat
like-
them out because I ain't like that.
Bro,
but shout them out, honestly.
I'm fucking eating Bodhi and my pupils are like as big as my eyes.
You're like an
and I'm just
alien.
like-
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, Adam, I know we've never met. I'm really fucking high. I'm tripping balls. And he's just like,
Yeah.
like, Mr. Eliop. He's like, well, I'll here for the same reason, mate. And he just like got a cup of water from the sink and walked away. I'm like, I
Oh
just
my
met Bodhi.
God.
Am I tripping?
Yeah.
It was so fun, man.
There will be some more. So for those listening that are still listening after nearly 3 hours at this point, it's crazy
Damn.
how fast time
Holy
flies by.
shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy, actually.
You know how much granite I mined? 0.
You know how, dude? You know what? I made a bunch of sapphire necklaces, so let's fucking go.
I've gained
He's on mushrooms right now.
120k, 120k fishing
Oh shit!
XP.
Hell
Damn,
yeah!
that's
Hell
a
go.
good amount. Not bad.
Huge.
Guys, down in the description, be sure to click on Eli's and a Cold One's links down there. Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, the whole crew, you know. Be sure to follow them. They're two amazing content creators, two just awesome people. I just got to know Eli, just super, like, you're awesome, man. It was really great to talk
nice
to
to
you.
meet you.
Anyway, guys, next, so not this upcoming week because I'll be in Mexico, but the week following for episode 100, it is confirmed we will be having Fat Clouds on the Sae Bae cast.
100.
For the first ever time. So much to talk about because, you know, he was one of those players going for 200 mil all and it was like, fuck it, I'm not doing it anymore. And now he's a weed salesman. So we're going to be talking to him. I'm really excited. But other than that, guys, thank you very much for listening. Eli, a Cold One, thank you very much for coming on tonight.
Yep.
It was a pleasure for me to just
Thanks for
talk to
having
you
us.
guys.
Thanks for having us tonight.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Sounds good. Peace out.
Laters.